relax, and keep your eyes to the skies.
Greetings, folks, and welcome to S4, where we talk about the serious issues involving paranormal and current events, coming to you live from the S4 headquarters in the smoky heart of the Cascade Mountains of Washington State, here in our studio in Cape Horn, Concrete, Washington. So, yes, it is very nasty out, very smoky out. It has been for about the last week. And so tonight, as per normal with current events, we are talking disaster preparedness. And we are talking fires, but it is actually Disaster Preparedness Month by FEMA for September. And then, of course, for our locals, I know there's probably a bunch of locals listening, so we are talking about a lot of issues locally. What you can do with your family to prepare. And again, it's funny because I get accused of being a fearmonger in our group, and it's like, really? No. Am I scared of disasters? No, I'm just prepared for them. And I encourage the public to prepare as well. And that simply means having your go bag, making sure your family knows what to do, and if you have to evacuate, things of that nature. So tonight with us we have, of course, Markham, our scientist. We have Joe Algier, our resident California geologist and the master of pointy sticks. And did you ever have to evacuate, Joe?
It was suggested, but we didn't have a forced evacuation, so I left for 4 days.
Gotcha. Okay, and then we have Arnold Hampton, who was a park ranger for Washington State for, 25 years, Arnold?
Yeah, 25 plus.
And has had fire training with the Forest Service and whatnot, so perfect person to have on tonight's show talking fires and how to prepare. And that's one question I have for you anyways. So if there is a fire, well, wait, not if. So if you're camping in the Washington State Park Service and a forest fire breaks out, what's your, as a ranger, what are you told, what's the evacuation process?
It all depends on which park you're at and where you're located, because we have parks that are, some of them's got one way in and one way out.
Okay,
and
right.
Some have multiple ways out, but we usually have a fire plan where if we can have multiple ways to get out and take people out, we do. If there's a fire in the area, we alert those and tell the campers to load up what they can. Don't worry about their trailers type thing.
Right.
And
just go.
because when we say to go, it's their rigs and that's it. Because that's all we needed was a congestion of motorhomes and people trying to pull trailers out of a campground and stuff. So
right.
We would have drills every summer with our staff about creating fire lines and knowing where our evacuation routes were and making sure those were clear of debris,
right,
and stuff. So if we needed to use one, but and working with the local fire agencies too, due to the fact that most of the parks set close to a fire department, and working with them, because once they come in, they usually took over command and stuff, and we worried about making sure everybody got out.
So, did they ever give you guys wildland fire training, or were you to leave that up to the wildland, the local fire departments as far as fighting the actual fire?
They would take like one or two rangers out of each park and train them in wildland firefighting. That way, if they, let's say like around the state, if a fire broke out in eastern Washington, we had none going on in western, some of the rangers could go over and help and still have their parks being covered and being watched.
Right. Cool.
So it never really took out, like you might take the what we called our equipment operator and put them on wildland fire, and then a park ranger. So you had a guy that could go over and drive machinery or whatever, and then the ranger could go out and help fight fire and bust trails. But it usually was something like that. That our construction maintenance guys would always, they were kind of the first ones to jump at the fire training.
Mm-hmm.
Because normally if a fire broke out around any park, you always had to have people there at yours, and if you're going to use it as a base for other rangers, firefighters to come to, or even people coming to get away from what was happening.
Sounds good. Did you guys ever have to cut fire lines and things like that, or do the fire breaks? Or were you, is that kind of stuff you were taught? Or?
Yeah, in fire training, we were, by hand tools to make lines and stuff like that. Mm. But most of the areas I worked, there was usually there was a lot of logging community around or something like that, and locals would come in with their dozers or whatever. So that was easy. We could start, but our main objective right at first was to get everybody out as safely and as quickly as can be. Right. It's like you get everybody out and you're the last to leave. So, just take kind of going off fire. Like if a tsunami ever hit out at the ocean where a bunch of state parks are at, the rangers, as soon as are supposed to go around and try to get everybody out, and they're sort of the last ones to leave. And that's how, even with a fire or any other natural disaster, you're the make sure that once you leave the park, and you're the last one that was in that area.
Okay. So, and a couple things I need to say. We've been on complete burn ban for about a week now, less than a week. And this morning, there's 3 different people get called in for having fires in their yards. Come on, ignorance is no excuse here. We can barely breathe with the smoke in the air. You're going to add to it with a bonfire in your yard? Yeah, I hope the fire marshal gave him. Ordinarily, if there's no fires going on, and when I was with Grassmere, for example, we got called to the same guy over and over again. It's like you were told yesterday, no fires. You're told the day before that, no fires. Fire marshal's on his way. You're going to get a ticket this time. And that was without fires. So when the fire department's got to get called, guaranteed the fire marshal's right behind him.
But I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know we were on a burn ban. That's not an excuse.
I don't even live here, and I know you're all under a burn ban.
Right.
It does make sense, though.
Well, okay.
They couldn't see it on Facebook due to all the smoke in front of them.
Oh, you're just wrong.
Marijuana smoke doesn't count.
And so I don't even play that game because so our group is all upriver. We have 6,600 some odd people in the group. I guarantee about 1,000 of them don't live here, if not more. And not everybody upriver is in the group. But July, I'm not in the group, and I didn't see the post. You know what? Every county agency that has a Facebook page, I know has it posted.
Oh, yeah.
And this is statewide. It's not like it's just Skagit County. No, it's statewide. No fires. I don't even agree with the fact that they allow propane stoves. Because Cole and I were talking, knuckleheads put their propane stove on top of the grass. Well, there you go. Good way to start a fire.
That's happening.
Uh-huh.
That's happening.
A lot more than people think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Eric,
Down here in
that's
California, we've had a burn ban since early April. I mean, no fires allowed. And people still burn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in all fairness, so we've had a burn ban since, oh God, it was a modified burn ban. You could still have a campfire 3x3. But that stopped last week when they knew the smoke was coming. Mm-hmm. And when the red flag warning came in that, low humidity and high winds made the fire risk higher.
Yeah, basically just after Labor Day.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I am just saying we are kind of expecting a lot. Like, we've seen how intelligent the people of Earth are.
But Arl, you were saying you've actually seen the propane fire pits start fires?
Yeah, when I've worked in parks, when we'd shut down wood fires and stuff and let them bring propane in, where do you think they put them? They put them right out by the tall grass.
So when we light ours...
No.
Yeah, when we light ours, what we do is we actually put it in our fire pit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or on top with on the grate, and if it fits. But no, I don't know how many times I had to go around and tell people, you don't. They got their long hose that goes out into. And I'm like, that's right by the grass, and you're in an area. The park it was at, it's steep hills on each side. It's pretty much a one way in, one way out. You start a fire there, good luck at getting out.
That's one of those where you just look at him and say, "Did you have a big bowl of stupid for breakfast this morning?"
Right.
Yeah, I was just going to say the people that are starting the fires there near the grass are those the same people that try to feed peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to the bears.
Oh, probably.
Hey, there is nothing wrong with that.
There is too.
Have you ever seen a bear eat peanut butter? It's freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
Especially when they use the arm they tore off to pick their teeth.
Well, that's why I make the kids feed it to them.
Smaller faster. Smaller fingers to pick the peanut butter out. Oh, and that brings up another valid point. Now, so we weren't going to talk paranormal tonight because we are focused on disaster preparedness, but it does make you wonder: does Bigfoot go higher elevation or lower elevation with all the smoke?
Probably lower to get out from under the smoke, under the haze.
Wow, but there's a lot of places that he could get above the haze too in this area.
Here, you go up higher.
I don't think so. Like
go above Downey Creek, huh?
White Horse.
Yeah.
The tip.
They're talking the clouds here. The smoke is 50,000 foot. So I don't know how high he's going to have to climb, but
he's going to have to climb the clouds.
I'm thinking, if it is interdimensional, like we've talked about, he's probably chilling in a different dimension, going, "Have fun with that, y'all."
Yeah, and
hanging out on the water planet.
Right.
Bigfoot sightings aren't going to be as prevalent, I wouldn't think, with smoke and forest fires. Now,
well, actually, it might be just the opposite. If their habitat's being burned, if their home's being burned, and they've got to move, they might be going across roads or even using roads to get out that people are driving up and down. Maybe one will get hit by a fire truck or a Forest Service truck or something.
Right. Now, with that, and I've said this before, and I referenced the Upriver Group, but you are going to see strange behavior with wildlife because, the smoke itself is going to confuse deer, bears, cougars. Your wildlife might be more on the roads, trying to figure out how to get out of the smoke. So you can expect that. Now, with disaster preparedness, the first thing I want to bring up is anytime you move to a community, you want to assess what the threats are. We have wildfires everywhere. They can be something everywhere. Look at Australia. What? Oh, okay. I got you. Here, the first thing I did was assess the fact that we have two volcanoes, Mount Baker and Glacier Peak. which recently in the last year made it to level, hold on, I want to say a high threat level according to Washington State Emergency Management because of the fact that they're starting to wake up. They were dormant in the 80s. I think Glacier Peak was dormant before that. Baker's waking up. And because of the violent eruption factor historically with Glacier Peak, it's automatically on the high level. So, the thing with lahars, so lahars is a mud flow. And we're not going to go into the science of volcanoes, but lahars can actually happen anytime, whether the volcano is active or not. The volcano starts heating up a little bit, it warms up the snow, warms up the mud, and it causes a mud flow. Historically, again, I believe Baker, the lahar usually heads towards Bellingham. It doesn't come this direction. But, like Cole and I were talking yesterday, we don't know how it's going to blow.
I ain't scared.
Neither am I.
It's not anymore.
No.
Nope, now I'm scared of earthquakes again. God damn it.
Oh, good
Sorry.
God. We'll talk about earthquakes here in a little bit. So when I look at a threat assessment, the thing with the Army, we're taught risk assessment. Everything you do is a risk assessment. Oh my God, I got to brush my teeth. Am I going to choke on the toothbrush?
Sitting there.
No. What?
Sitting somewhere.
Yep.
Not moving.
Yep.
That's a risk.
Yep.
And you can't get away from it.
What?
Nothing.
Speak it.
Nothing.
Whatever. Being your husband is a risk assessment.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
Oh,
So
that's on the high level.
and again, so we got volcanoes. The next threat I look at is dams, is critical infrastructure.
Them damn dams.
Them damn dams. And, we have 5 dams just in our community. The Upper Lower Baker, we got Ross, Diablo, and what's the third one?
George.
Gorge, yep. And so you have...
All right.
What?
Dennis corrected you. You need to announce that.
Have to announce what?
Are you not in the chat?
Yeah, I'm in the chat.
He's nitpicking.
Oh, Lahar. Okay. Lahar.
Lahar.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Lahar. Okay.
I'm brain dead. I blame it on...
Because as soon as you mix ash with water, it becomes corrosive.
It's my soap and it's my water. I'll wash it as fast as I want.
Right?
My car will stay dirty until I get a chance.
Yeah, pretty much.
I lick my windows clean.
You lick them clean.
I'm not surprised.
Just be careful of the one that you put your ass against when you moon people. Don't lick that one.
Okay, y'all throw me off here.
We're on volcanoes.
So we have 5 dams, which, so I had to write a paper on infrastructure security a couple years ago, 3 years ago, I guess now. And so I did a research study on it, and I found a study that was done in the 80s of how much time it would take should the 3 most eastern dams break. Now, if all 5 dams break, according to the study, you're talking a 30-foot wall of water coming down this valley. And they say you have 20 minutes.
That's why I live on the top of a mountain.
15.
Whoa. Where do you have 20 minutes?
You have 20 minutes to evacuate.
Where?
Yeah, from where? From
Marble
like
Mount
Marble
does not
Mount
have 20
or
minutes.
No, from concrete.
From concrete?
Which
This
side
was
of
done from
concrete?
But if you're talking Upper Lower Baker, no, you have less time than that.
You got 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, honestly, for For the big wall, you
that's just enough to bend over backwards and kiss your ass goodbye.
Like, the water would take you within 30 seconds, but before the really big wall hits, you have maybe 5 minutes at the most.
And that's about the time you're going to hear the dam siren.
No, it'll be garbled underwater. Honestly, like those things, they do what they can, and they've got it as close as they can. But for a lot of people, that's not going to do anything.
No, you might be okay in Lyman, Hamilton.
And Dennis is a professional. He's seen all the volcano movies.
Oh, my favorite was Dante Peak.
We just need Tommy Lee Jones. He can stop it.
Right?
Oh,
no, Moses. He can, just...
No, he just uses flashy thingy so you forget that it's coming.
But with the dams, again...
The dams.
The dams.
Those dams.
Yeah. I wouldn't stress it too much.
No.
Honestly.
No, the likelihood of it happening without a catastrophic event making it happen, then it is not high. It is not a high chance that, especially all 5 of them.
The way they are built,
no,
they are strong enough to last through the Cascadia subduction zone earthquake, which means they are strong enough, tested in a lab,
right,
to last through an 11.0.
They did great in the lab.
What they did is they built it first, then they destroyed the first one and saw how much it took to destroy the first one, then they rebuilt it.
So that's and again, that's a threat assessment. Is it going to happen? It might. It might not. So I get asked too, where do we go? So if you live, and again, I'm speaking more for our locals here. And this goes for anybody. If you have a dam near you, know what your evacuation route's going to be. Know where the highest point is to get out. If you're in Cape Horn, I've been telling people to go up Finney Creek Road. But with that, you need to have a plan. So with that, you need to take your family on a picnic and go up all these little dirt roads that have a quick ascent. That way, is there a gate blocking that road? Okay, that's probably not going to happen then. What?
Have a vehicle that can actually go up these roads, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's why you take your family up on a picnic. Hey, if the tire blows or the battery goes dead, then, okay, we need to fix our vehicle better.
Keep the hot air balloon on idle.
Yeah.
Jetpacks.
Run these plans.
I'm hoping that, if the dams do break, friend, I'm staying here. I'm going to have a boat ready facing west. Friend, I'm riding it.
Surfboard.
You going to ride the wave?
Yep.
Okay.
That's my plan.
Okay, you go ahead and do that.
Kayla's
just
gonna have
leave
the
the
kids in the
keys
van
right
going up the
here
mountain.
because
Kayla can't drive the van.
Huh?
Kayla can't drive. They're not moving.
that is true. Leave me alone. It's not my fault.
Okay, so when you're talking mitigation, know what the damn warning siren sounds like. Know if you can hear it. That sounds so. The damn warning siren just sounds weird.
Yeah,
it does. It has a weird little bop to it.
So they tried to put it enough of the pillars in enough places so that you could hear it everywhere. But the problem with that is they didn't account for interlooping sounds. So when both of them go off at the same time in one area, they do not mix well. So you can't actually understand what the guy's saying.
Yeah. And no,
anywhere.
Up here, guys, our damn warning sirens go off every Monday. It's a test of this.
No, it's the second Monday of the month.
It's the second Monday now?
6 p.m.
It used to be every Monday.
No.
Oh, you're
No, that's probably when they first set them up.
No, the other one's tested. The fire department sirens are tested every Monday.
There we go. I knew one of them was.
No. They only sound the fire department sirens when they're calling them in for training, which is the second and the fourth Mondays of the month, I want to say.
I thought they were tested every Monday.
Nope.
Okay, so basically if you hear a siren on a Monday,
That's probably
Ignore it.
Probably most likely just them testing the system.
And if your feet aren't getting wet, just go on about your business.
So I talked to one of the firemen here locally, and I asked him, because everybody's worried about the fires. And I asked him what the protocol was. If this community is under some kind of threat, everybody's used to the siren going off. It lasts about 30 seconds. It's to call all the volunteer firemen in for a motor vehicle accident, a fire, a medical call, whatever. But it goes off. And so I asked him, if there's some kind of a threat to the community, do they sound the siren and it doesn't stop? And he said, yeah. So be advised, if that siren doesn't go off, start heading for high country. Or at least turn on a radio or get with Code Red. I believe it's codered.com. It's an alert system, basically a reverse 911. You can register your cell phone with it, and you will get text alerts when there's something in the community. So
they have that Code Red down here, and they haven't quite perfected it.
It's
the last fire we had in the beginning of August, there were people that got 8 or 9 texts, and there were other people that were right in the middle of it that didn't get anything.
Yeah, I don't think, when you're talking technology anyway, I'm not sure who activates it or where it's activated from, but if the towers go down, you're not going to get it. Think about it that way.
The monk stands on top of the
every warning
banging
system.
the bell.
Every warning system has initial bugs when they first use it.
Right.
And they're trying. There's not much we can do. Like, I remember when they put up the tornado warning system in Drumheller. Anytime we got above a 10 mile an hour wind in the valley, it went off.
Right.
Okay, so the other thing that you should do if a mass catastrophe or something of that happens in your area is you need to have a contact that lives somewhere outside of the area.
We're getting to that. That's part of the planning part. We're still at the risk assessment part.
Risking assessments.
So, the other threat that you need to be aware of, and this is again for anywhere, is your power outages. We have them here for up to a week sometimes, mostly in the winter. So with that, you want to have a plan. In my case, we have places we can go where there's still heat, but a lot of people forget, power goes out, you don't got water. Especially if you have a well. Yeah. So make sure you have water stored. In our case, we have cases, we get like 2 or 3 cases of water every payday, and it just stays stored. One for summertime, we want to stay hydrated, and 2 for disasters.
Because honestly, anybody, that's the first thing that's going to be gone off of those shelves when you go in if there's any kind of disaster.
What? Not toilet paper?
No, it's going to be that bottled water, man.
Everybody had that one wrong, didn't they?
We have a lot of the power outages down here because of, it's California and they're idiots that run this place.
Yeah, you have rolling.
Some of them are planned. They know they're coming, and some of them they tell you, it might be off the next day or 2. There's simple things to do that people don't think about, like fill your bathtub up with water.
Yep.
If nothing else, you can use that to flush your toilets and things like that. Like you said, keep water around that you can use. I've got a couple of giant 5-gallon Igloo water jugs. I fill those things up when I know one's coming. And in fact, there's one sitting in the kitchen right now. It's been filled for about a month or 2 now.
Oh, and that's that's the nice part about when you know they're coming. We get a foot of snow up here in the wintertime. We have for the last 2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
It didn't. it didn't snow.
You're
it
good at
didn't
this.
snow a whole lot up here before that. And we actually moved up here with the expectation of snow. So in 2012, there was none. 2013, yeah, there was a flurry or two, but it didn't stick. 2014, again, a flurry or two. All of a sudden, 2015 did a flip-flop, and then we got 6 inches that year. In the last 3 years, we've gotten a foot, and it lasts about a month or two.
Yeah.
And with that, I remember, wasn't it last year that it was out for 3 days and it came back Christmas Eve?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like Merry Christmas.
For you.
Huh?
For
Yeah, for us it was still out
you. No.
when we were...
We got it back on like the 22nd.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right. That's
okay.
right.
They didn't like you.
Apparently.
You know.
But yeah, there was no power for 3-4 days, and I remember one year it was out for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, no, it always depends on where the lines run and which ones went down. Like we get our power from across the river, so Highway 20 usually takes priority over anything else.
Right.
And so we always get ours before you when everyone goes out. So and we'll get to the winter preparedness. We might even do a separate show, Yes,
October, November, just on winter preparedness. And of course, for our locals, October 6th is National Night Out between 5 and 8 p.m. It's going to be in the field right outside the U-Haul storage unit area in concrete. And a lot of the same information we're putting out tonight is actually going to be in the packets we're going to be handing you. So come down, meet the deputies. They don't know it yet, but I'm going to be contacting the fire department about getting a fire truck set up. And it is a drive-through event only, so it is approved from the health department. But again, mark October 6th on your calendar. Come down and see us. So power outages, we're not going to get into that the whole winter side of it a whole lot, but power outages happen during the winter time or during the summertime as well. A tree falls in the power lines, there goes the power. Transformers blow. Here comes the power surge, and there goes the power. That's how we lost our furnace. But Cole, you want to talk about generators briefly? Have a backup generator for your home, just for power outages.
wouldn't that be part of planning? Risk assessment.
Okay. So we'll get to generators. About 4,500 watt generator. Probably about the best bet.
Depends on what you have.
Depends on what you have. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show.
Yeah.
Second hour.
We got Big Bertha out there.
Right?
Yeah.
So your next one, I've got this in our community, and I would say it's probably common in most, is the high crime rate with the lack of law enforcement. Mm-hmm. That is a threat. How do you mitigate that? Well, you talk to your politicians. You talk to your county commissioners.
Your local gun dealer.
Huh? Local gun dealer?
Okay. Hey, how about you talk to your neighbors and actually get to know them,
right.
So that.
Wait, she might not be listening. So S-4 does not condone the use of gun dealers.
No vigilante justice.
That too.
That too.
Only when we're on the air, though, right?
Huh?
Only when we're on the air, though, right?
No. Okay, so you enter my property. It's a different scenario. But that's kind of the plan with East County Consulting, which is the agency that we are setting up in conjunction with what S4 does with disaster mitigation. And with that, we are setting up citizen patrol. Neighborhood block watches are another excellent way to mitigate your high crime rate. The more you report strange behavior, the more you report the guy that's walking around 2 o'clock in the morning with a backpack and, a gas can or bolt cutters, things like that. That's kind of a warning sign that, that's when you call it in. when you live up in a rural community like we do, you dial 911. If you don't feel it's an emergency, you can still, up here, dial 911. You know, that's something you have to check with your local agencies as far as what's the protocol. Is there a number that we dial besides 911, or is 911 the...
Right, there's a lot of places that have your non-emergency lines,
right,
that'll get you to the same, that'll get somebody sent out there, but it isn't clogging up the lines for people who actually need help.
Right.
Like in larger cities, they always have a non-emergency line.
And up here, even the non-emergency number goes to the same dispatch that 911 is, but they know that when that phone rings,
they can ignore it.
They don't ignore it. It's still the same dispatcher that answer, but they know it's a lower priority. Also, like this morning, somebody asked if my neighbor's got a bonfire going, do I dial 911 or the non-emergency line? And I told them I would dial 911 because that's a threat to the community.
Hey, while you guys were talking, I just heard on my scanner some idiot in town's got a bonfire in his front yard.
Seriously?
20 minutes ago.
They're all over the place.
He probably didn't know there was a burn ban.
He couldn't see the sign because of the smoke.
No, and his internet's not working.
Is your internet working, Joe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like you got good connectivity even with all the smoke and everything that's been going on down there?
Yeah, it actually hasn't bothered it too much at all.
That's awesome. Kudos to your internet company then, because they're keeping up on it then.
Right.
Yippee!
Did you say zippy?
All right. So the next threat will be landslides. So even if you're not from Washington and you're listening, everyone's heard of Oso. Oso landslide made international news, actually.
Yeah.
Based on the significance of that slide. What was it? A mile and a half of mountain? Something like that.
I honestly don't know the numbers.
Yeah, I don't either.
It was a good chunk of mountain that came off.
A metric buttload.
Yeah.
If you imagine a ski hill, like a good sized ski hill,
right?
It would have been at least 3 runs.
Yeah,
that came down,
and it covered houses. I mean, it took a good.
There was no houses when it came through.
No,
like it didn't. There
it
was
took
nothing
everything
left.
out. And it took them about 2 months to actually recover everything. So what do you do if... one mitigation is to talk to someone like Joe, who's a geologist, who can actually assess the hillside and the threat it is. Is it going to come down? Is it unstable? Is it deforested? You know, that's why your loggers, when they come up and they log a hillside, they're supposed to replant, because it's the trees that hold the hillside together. Heavy rains,
ice melt.
Those are common factors that destabilize hillsides.
Ice milk.
Yep.
Melt.
Melt.
No. Ice milk.
Not ice milk. That's Bigfoot. Bigfoot drinks ice milk.
No, that's his buddy the Yeti.
There you go.
I wonder if he gets a brain freeze, and that's what the yowls out in the forest are.
You know, when you're looking at property to buy, when you're looking at a house to buy, and there's a hillside behind it, look at the historical documents, because guaranteed there's going to be some kind of a sign that the hillside's not stable.
Definitely look for erosion patterns from any of the rivers or anything
you
that
can
are
do
close
that.
by.
Also, what is it with the trees, Cole?
Moss.
When a hillside's unstable,
So if
the trees make a J.
If a hillside is starting to fall and over time, the trees will start forming a J from their roots, still trying to go straight up in the air.
Right, so they're sliding. So
yeah, the new part of the tree that grows from the earth will actually grow to the side instead of straight up.
Okay.
And that's a hill that you need to watch out for.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things too. Like if you have the ability to look at the land itself on a bigger scale, you can see where there's been landslides, 200-300 years ago, or even sooner than that. You can see where the whole thing's been eroding. If you look and say, well, there's been a landslide here before, there's probably going to be one again.
Well, and I think that's where Google Maps would come in handy.
The skeletonized feet sticking up out of the soil is also a clue.
Not really that, but I mean, there's also, like, in specific areas, you will see where, like, half of the forest in that area is way younger than the other part, but only up so far. Well, that's one of those little things that's like, hey, there might have been a slide here at some point. Not always because of the deforesting.
Right.
Sometimes it's just new growth of trees that they have planted. But definitely if you see that and it's for quite a ways, you might want to check out the historic.
Now, a few months ago, or it might have even been last year, when the hill was sliding on Concrete Sauk Valley Road, somebody had actually asked if we're driving on the highway and we get caught in a slide, what are we supposed to do?
Pray.
No. Well, you can. That doesn't really help you, though. But somebody had also posted that's actually been in a slide, you're supposed to turn into the slide and accelerate.
Yeah, it creates an air pocket.
Yeah. And I definitely put my windows up. Make sure my windows are up. I mean, as fast as you can, because the slide's going to happen quick. You don't have a whole lot of response time. But turn into it and accelerate. And you might even, depending on how much dirt's coming down, be able to fly out. Drive out of it. If not, you're going to create a pocket. And that's where we'll get into what you should pack, what you should put in your car later on. But a whistle would come in handy in that kind of case. Honk your horn. No.
Oh.
It's been shown. So we will have some Red Cross whistles at National Night Out as well in your packets. They make great whistles. And that's going to help your first responders. If you have a whistle or you're able to honk your horn, they're going to hear, oh shit, somebody's underneath the mud.
And honestly, the last thing that you want to do is be screaming a whole lot.
Right.
All you're doing is using up your oxygen twice as fast.
Nope.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And if your vehicle stops moving, turn it off.
Yeah. Save that battery for the horn.
Save the battery for the horn, plus
you don't want to be sucking in that exhaust.
Yeah, exhaust poisoning.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If it's to the point where you are underneath the slide and it won't move, just turn it off, and your horn operates whether the car's on or not.
So our next threat we're going to discuss, I'm not going to hit winter storms because that'll be a whole different show, probably in October. But would be flood. Everyone has floods. So we have the 100-year flood, the Skagit River floods all the time, every year.
The Sierra Desert probably doesn't have floods.
What?
And they did at one point, actually.
The
if you
Sierra?
look back.
Not anymore.
Where?
The Sierra Desert.
Oh, well, probably not. Well, they have flash floods.
That's true.
Heavy rain in a small expanse of time. Yes,
and a lot of places in the U.S. actually have flash floods.
Texas. Usually you do have some kind of a warning. The NOAA will put out a warning of flash flood potential.
Imminent.
I think the bottom line, if you hear of a disaster warning that something's impending and you're encouraged to evacuate, listen to it, evacuate. That's where a lot of the problems come from. They had the flood here. They were told 3 days before the flood hit it was coming, and there are people that still didn't move, and they got stuck on their roof.
Yep.
And nobody wanted
Once
to come
again,
and
this is
rescue
why
them.
I live on the top of a mountain.
Absolutely.
Well, but at the same time, the guy who got warned that Mount St. Helens was going to blow who lived at the top of the mountain,
Harry
didn't
Truman.
move.
Harry Truman, yep.
Yeah, Harry Truman.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
guess where he is?
Well, some
Yeah,
of him's
but
over there,
he-
some of him's over there.
He also didn't have a bunker on the top of his mountain. I'm just saying.
Right? You got a bunker.
How do you know?
Well, I guess he could have, but I think they would have
Didn't do
found
him a
in
lot of
it.
good.
I mean,
So those are most of your natural disasters. I mean,
most of them.
most of them, you've got lightning storms. Stay indoors. Stay away from windows. Don't be on the phone. Don't take a bath or shower. Come on, common sense.
Earthquake. We did
Earthquake.
not cover earthquake.
We did not cover earthquake. Earthquake, we have a specific list we'll go over later on the show.
Meteor storms.
Meteor storms I don't count. Sharknado I don't count. I can't wait for the alien invasion in November.
Oh,
Did you hear about that, Joe? Alien invasion in November? And a
No,
Krampus
I
attack.
missed that. I got people showed up.
Did anyone tell the aliens?
Krampus attack.
Yeah, Krampus attack in December, and there's going to be an alien invasion in November.
But did anyone tell the aliens?
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
I'm
ready
sure.
for that.
I'm sure. So, how do you evaluate hazards in your community? One, go to your local Department of Emergency Management. They usually do an assessment every. Personally, I think it should be every year because things change, but they're not. I believe they're like every 5 years. They usually do a new hazard assessment. We live in an age of COVID where everything is pretty much at a standstill. So even if it's due, I doubt it's been done. But those are the kind of what is a potential to happen in your community that's going to affect the life of the community.
yeah.
That's what you want to look at. Second, how do you mitigate that risk? One, make a plan, which we'll get to in the second hour. Two, make a kit. Have your go bag ready. Have your important papers all in one place. Have copies in a briefcase, for example, that you can just grab and throw in the truck. What are important papers? Your marriage license, your birth certificates, your social security cards, your mortgage, your insurance paperwork, passports, vehicle titles, anything that, if it gets destroyed, what can affect your life? You guys got anything to throw in?
Social security numbers for you and your children, or
Or
anyone in the
certificate.
house.
The kind of papers that you would want to keep in a safe deposit box, you should have. If you don't have a safe deposit box, or if you do, at least have certified copies of that stuff in your to-go bag.
With that, I have either a memory stick or a memory card with pictures of all your high-value items, with all your serial numbers documented. That way, when you are doing, after the fact, when you are doing your insurance claim, they're going to want to know, my big screen TV, here's a picture of it, and the serial number is right here. And have that in your briefcase as well. There's a lot of documentation, a lot of files and whatnot that I maintain that anybody can contact me for an emergency action plan. I've got inventory packets from, I believe it's State Farm, but anybody can use it just for documentation purpose.
It might be smart. I did something for my dad. Took my video camera and just went through his house and did a video of the valuables. That way you get the furniture, you get the knickknacks, you get some kind of photographic evidence that, yes, I did own all this shit at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And you can put that on a flash drive, too.
It's the things you want to think about that you might need out. Picture your home gone. What would you want out of your house?
So, Eric, like your medical records for...
Outstanding. Thank you, Arnold. And in my case, my VA documentation.
My guitar.
Yeah.
My cat.
Your guitar.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how about, like, let's say not what you want, but what you need out of your house?
My guitar.
I'm going to be running for the hill carrying 3 guitars and a banjo and a freaking...
It's gonna look like that scene in The Jerk where I don't need any of this except this chair.
And good point, actually, Markham. Your cat. We'll get to what to do with your pets.
Always have extra food available for your.
Well, that comes with
handy meals.
It comes in third hour. What do you pack?
Good luck if you own a herd of fucking cattle.
Oh, there's plans for that too.
But just sitting there.
I believe, in
bail on
fact,
their back.
when you're talking about the fires, I believe it was Whatcom County with the Deming fire,
Yes.
or it might have been Eastern Washington.
Mm-hmm.
They opened up the fairgrounds for the farmers to take their livestock to.
Yeah, that was Mansfield.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, Mansfield, they couldn't leave. They had no
Right.
shelter in place. So they
So-
had the fairgrounds opened up so they could try to get as many animals in there as they could.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I was just reading something about that the other day. They have opened it up for cross-state bordering
Right.
without the permit process.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to have them back within your state within 30 days or be able to talk to them about permitting after that. But for emergency situation, they're letting you bring your livestock to someone you know in another state without the permitting processes.
And that's the thing too, you know. And when you're talking making an emergency action plan, there's specific procedures for farms with emergency action plans based on the size. You know, you got 100 horses, or even 5 horses and 20 head of cattle. What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you maintain your livestock trailers so you can evacuate with them, or you just open the gate and let them go, depending on what the disaster is. What are you going to do? That's part of your plan. Because you think about it, you do manage to get your 20 head of livestock into the trailer and gone. What about the hay? What about the feed?
And where do you take them? Yeah.
Yep. Make sure you have that backup plan of what you're going to do with your animal. Because that's a lot of money wasted.
Eat them.
Okay, you have an hour to leave. Yeah. Are you really going to have an hour to butcher out 20 head of livestock?
Hell yeah.
I'm going to be packing up and getting the hell out.
We can do it.
Just take the legs.
They might be a little on the rare side when we cook them, but
A little chewy, but you know.
All right, so
Yeah.
when it comes to mitigating, because there's a lot of the threats in our community that I didn't talk about tonight because, well, they're not arable. They just aren't. And I'll mention one, and it's because we live in a rural community, we have a slow EMS response. And it's not their fault. It's a fact that we have a 50-mile radius that they respond to with one ambulance. So how would you mitigate that? You have an idea? Make sure you have your own first aid card. Make sure you yourself are medically trained at the basic response, so that if it's something the ambulance doesn't need to respond to, you can handle on your own.
Or you can at least hold off until the ambulance can get there.
That's a mitigation. Does the ambulance need to show up because you broke a leg? So, if you know its basic splinting processes, you can splint that leg, get the individual in your vehicle, and drive them to the hospital without calling the ambulance in. For example. I think what I would change...
Definitely, I believe that everybody that lives in any kind of rural community should go through a first aid, CPR, infant and adult class.
Well, and today I would also have AFib training.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me get those AEDs.
Yeah, AED training.
Yep.
And AEDs really aren't that. They're pricey, but you can get a basic AED for the back of your vehicle for $200 to $300.
And almost every public location has one available now. Most of your public
here's the thing.
libraries, most of your schools.
If you're driving down the highway and you come across an accident on Highway 20, having an AED could be the difference between life and death.
Yep.
If you have the money for it, that's the thing. I wrote an article for the Homeland Security today, and what I did bring up is the bag I keep in my truck is a heavy trauma kit. But again, there's a difference between being a combat medic and being a civilian that has nothing but a basic first aid card. I can't perform the duties I performed as a combat medic on a civilian today because, well, as a combat medic, you're sticking IVs, chest tubes, things that I would get in trouble for doing today as a civilian.
I got a question about that. Is there such a thing in this state as a Good Samaritan
Yes,
law?
there is.
Okay.
But
Yes.
you will not be covered. For example, again, using my scenario, if I was to stick an IV and I blew a vein or I caused some kind of damage to that person, they could sue me because it's above my skill level as a civilian. For example. The only way I could get that back was to go challenge a paramedic course or something equivalent. But that ain't gonna happen. Maybe one day. And with that, it is time for our first break. So when we'll come back, we'll start talking about making a plan.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
You break, you're going down.
Welcome back to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
And welcome back to S4, where tonight we're talking disaster preparedness. So Izzy says, well, it's kind of late. We already have fires going. Like, well, there's a lot more threats than just fires.
And it's never too late.
We don't have any immediate fires in our community here. We're lucky that way.
And obviously we still need to do it because people are still trying to light fires.
Right?
So,
Yeah.
It's serious.
So I'm going to go over real quick. If you get the order to evacuate, there's a really, really cool evacuation checklist that was put out. There's Izzy.
hi, Izzy.
Who's just talking about you? You must have been burning. But, and again, this is something we'll have in our disaster preparedness kits that we're going to be passing out at National Night Out. So I'm going to start with the 2+ hour warning, where you actually have time. You have 2 hours to prepare what you get. The top 11 are your albums, your photos, your home videos, family photos on display, your military decorations, records, mementos, and plaques, packed luggage. As soon as you find out there might be a threat, I would put... So what I recommend is nobody's kids are really in school. Take those old book bags, the kids use for school, and make that their disaster preparedness kit. Use that bag.
The other thing that works really well for children for a disaster preparedness kit is pillowcases. It is something that they can hold on to, and it is something they can throw over their shoulder and pack really quickly.
Yep. So you want at least 2 to 3 days worth of clothes. Their favorite stuffy. Something that's going to keep them occupied. Their toothbrush. Think of it like a sleepover at Grandma's house, but 3 days worth. So with that, you got military decorations, records, mementos, and plaques. We kind of went over that a little bit. Personally, I wouldn't pack my military decorations, but at least my records. If you had 2+ hours, I don't have that many plaques. I don't even know what my plaques are. Pack luggage, valuable items, cameras, heirlooms, art and collections, primary cosmetics, secondary vehicle, RV, camping equipment and tent, journals, diaries, and letters. So that's like your 2 hour warning.
And any medication that you need.
That goes, yeah.
That's an immediate. Pack that first.
That's an immediate. So if you only have an hour, you want to take or safeguard your guns and ammo, an ice cooler with ice, food, and drinks, genealogy records and files, 3 days worth of food, special diet items. So I'm going to go against that and say a week. Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, FEMA has always said supplies for 3 days, but we've lived, being up here, we've gone a week without power, for example. And that's no. I would pack for a week. So they say a gallon of water per person per day. For 3 days, no. Go for 7. And it sounds like a lot. It kind of is a lot, but better to have it. So 3 days, okay, I'd say a week worth of food, special diet items. With that, I'd say medications, like Kayla just said. Gloves, dust masks for smoke. So, 2 types of gloves I recommend. One, leather or, heavy-duty work gloves, which I do have in my kit. And medical gloves, or nitrile gloves, nitro. I keep medical gloves in my truck, also in my kit. You want to think of bloodborne pathogens. So if you, for example, you come up on an accident, you want to keep medical gloves in the door, which that's something I need to do. I keep forgetting to put gloves in a baggie and put it in the door of the truck. Paper plates, cups, utensils. Yes, you don't want to take glass plates. Take paper plates. Something you can just throw away or burn. School items, homework, pen, pencil, books, calculator, and paper. Think of your kids. Your kids are in school. You have to evacuate. Sure, you know, they may or may not be able to do school while you're away on evacuation, but you want to keep them in a form of normalcy. Licenses, vehicle titles, deeds. Again, I will put that in a briefcase. Keep everything in a briefcase that you just grab and go. You don't need an hour warning for that. It's already ready to go. Personal property list, photos, and appraisals, documentation. Again, I keep that in a briefcase. That way, you can focus on other stuff for the 1 hour warning because it's already ready to go. So your 30-minute warning, they have pillows, sleeping bags, blankets. That should be at the camping gear. Really. Address book and phone list, jewelry and most valuable personal possessions, personal hygiene items, other meds and supplements, first aid kit, medical items, pet food, dishes, bedding, and litter, children's items, toys and books, battery radio, extra batteries, toilet paper, yes, toilet paper, hand wipes and soap, clothing for 3 days, shoes. What the hell is going on with my computer? Computer, monitor, laptop. Of course, that's going, right in the truck anyway. Gallon jugs of drinking water. All right, so you have 15 minutes to go. For me, 15 minutes. Most of my stuff's already ready to go. It just goes in the truck and we roll out. But what they have on their list is a wallet, purse, keys and glasses, cell phones and chargers, emergency cash and credit cards, pets, carriers, leashes and meds, clothes, shoes, hats for season. Hats for season. So that's going to be, a ball cap for the sun,
toque.
What the hell is a toque? What?
A beanie.
A beanie cap.
Whatever.
There we go.
It's a toque.
Toboggan.
Huh?
Who the hell brings a toboggan?
You get a toboggan?
That's what they called them. The toboggan's the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Or maple leafers call a toque.
A balaclava.
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 There we go.
Jesus.
Flashlights next to batteries. You know what? With the flashlights, I get a headlamp too. I like headlamps a lot better because a headlamp, your hands are still free. You can just grab
the only bad thing, and we discovered this when we were doing that investigation, is if you're wearing a headlamp and you tend to look at somebody's face, you're blinding them.
You're blinding the hell out of them.
I will remind people that just because you have a flashlight in your phone, bring an extra flashlight. Your phone only has so much battery power.
Yeah, you don't want to use up your phone.
Take up a lot of power on your phone.
Well, and that's the thing. Make sure as soon as you find out there's a threat, for example, we have fires around us, make sure your phones are charged, as well as have a charger ready, or a battery backup. Those are always handy too. And lastly, they have checkbooks and bills to pay.
What?
Bills to wait. You're in disaster, bills to wait.
Yeah, hopefully your debtors will be in the disaster zone as well.
Right? Yeah, they're not really
high on the priority list when you're trying to survive.
Right. So, let's talk about creating an emergency plan. So you've already assessed what your hazards are in the community. You've kind of gone over how to mitigate them. Again, I would talk to your local sheriff, your local fire departments, your local Department of Emergency Management. Hopefully they have an idea of what's in your area that you should prepare for. Again, we have that Cascadia subduction zone. And here's what frustrates me, I think, the most. So we talked about 9/11 the other day.
Yep.
And, nobody forgot 9/11.
Buried one.
Everyone remembers what they were doing for 9/11. But how many of those people that still remember what happened on 9/11 have prepared for it to happen again, if it happens again? And I probably when when I was in school, I brought this up, and it's been brought up with Homeland Security. The fact that even emergency managers, they didn't forget 9/11, but there's still that thought process with them that, well, it happened in New York, it's not going to happen in my backyard, and they don't set up a plan for it.
There's a reason for that.
What?
Because they remember what happened.
Mm-hmm.
They don't remember the feelings.
Well, half of them
that went
there.
through.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It doesn't matter if you were there. I wasn't there.
Right.
I remember that feeling of being terrified, of being just enamored by what was happening on the TV, and not knowing what to do, what I could do.
I remember Dad calling. I was working weekend nights, and I remember my dad calling because I was taking a nap because later in that day I was burying my best friend. And to me, my personal grief, I was just like, I wasn't that tuned in to the 9/11 grief because I had my own thing going.
Right.
But I can just remember thinking, holy, is this really happening?
It was that feeling of, what's the word I'm looking for here? So
shock.
Well, shock for one, but yeah, when you have a trauma that major, you tend to distance yourself emotionally. You're emotionally isolated from the shock. Numbness. There we go. But your takeaway from that, and Izzy said she was scared too, but they locked them all down and told us we were next. But again, Izzy at the time lived in Florida, outside Lackland Air Force Base. I believe it was Lackland, wasn't it, Izzy? And, so I brought this up actually on 9/11 in the Upriver group that, I was in Germany. We were locked down. Our tanks rolled into Kitzingen on the streets, locked the city down. Eglin. There we go. Not Lackland. Eglin Air Force Base. But I was on security detail for the next 3 months, doing installation gate guard. That changed. 9/11 changed my entire military career because in Iraq followed. So
that is actually because me and my two boys talked about 9/11 on 9/11. So 2 days ago, and I asked them if they knew what that day was.
Right.
And Jalen was able to respond with a full answer. John completely forgot, but he wasn't alive.
He was, yeah. Okay.
They're learning about it, but it's still taking time. He's young.
Right.
So they asked me what I was doing, and then I explained to him that for you, that changed your entire military career. That's exactly how I described it. And I said, for anyone who was involved with the military at that time, it would have. For a lot of people who had plans to join the military, it would have.
And that's the thing. 9/11 actually was a catalyst for a lot of kids and young adults joining the military.
Yeah.
And looking back, we won't get into politics. We're not going to get into that whole thing. But the takeaway from it is preparation. Can you prepare for an airplane coming into a tower? No, you can't.
No.
You honestly can't. Something of that magnitude you can't plan for. For us, Mount Baker blows.
Not to say they didn't try.
Right.
They did have a plan for that. It's just not like if you look at the actual records of the Twin Towers and their building preparedness, they did have plans for that. But things happened that didn't.
Well, they were thinking more of an accidental.
No.
I think they were planning more for, ever since that B-25 hit the Empire State Building, I think they've always planned for some kind of accidental.
How often do they incorporate the public?
I don't think they do.
They don't.
No.
And
so, they know how to respond. But do the Smiths and the Jones know how to respond? No, they don't. And that's the downfall of the system. You need to have a drill that incorporates the entire community. What would you do? Do you have your plan in place? Here's what you need to do to respond for this scenario. Here's what you need to do for that scenario. That's how you incorporate a community emergency response plan. Not just the first responders. Because honestly, if that same scenario was to play out, not 9/11, but any scenario, would the first responders actually be able to get to the point of responding? Probably not.
You know, in all fairness, they have done a couple of drills over the course of the last couple of years here. One of them was the National Shakeout.
National Shakeout's a great program.
Everybody in the area at this time, let's practice.
For what?
For earthquake preparedness.
But at the same time, that wasn't the community, that was businesses.
Right. I'm just saying, like, there has been a few programs here and there, and every once in a while you'll hear about something that happened on either a national or statewide basis.
Here's my problem, too, though.
That's the issue.
They have an active shooter drill.
You hear that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Not that it's happening.
No.
We actually took that course, didn't we?
What, active shooter?
Yeah, the Homeland Security active shooter course.
Yeah.
I actually got continuing credits for that.
But my problem with it is, again, they didn't really announce it. Any active shooter you're not going to announce anyway. But again, they didn't incorporate the community. So yeah, we want a couple people to moulage up and pretend like they've been shot. But we're not going to incorporate the community in your plans. That way, the community knows how to respond. The community knows, okay, the parents shouldn't go to the school if they hear about an active shooter. They might be part of the problem. There's so many improvements that should be done that don't get looked at. So when it comes to you, the Joneses and the Smiths, this is what you can do. And part of our plans with ECC is to help improve some of those systems. But make a plan. And you don't have to look at the volcano, you don't have to look at the earthquakes. Make a general plan. So you know what your family's going to do should something happen. Your whole family knows what to do. You have an out-of-state contact. For us, it's my Aunt Patty. She's in Idaho. That way, if Izzy and I are separated, we both know to call Aunt Patty and check in. So if my father-in-law, for example, doesn't check in, we know he's still probably at the house.
So the other thing with calling a person to check in and different things like that is right after a disaster happens. So many people are on their phones calling in to different people that sometimes the system will go down. The thing to kind of keep away from doing all of that is if you send a text message out versus an actual call out, there is way more of a likelihood of that text message going through than that phone call.
Yep. And for locals, again, because I've been asked too, CB radio. What channel do we run up here? I don't think there is a designated CB channel for East County. Me personally, I run channel 13. And Arnold knows why. Channel 13 was, back in the 80s when Arnold and I were actually out cruising around and whatnot. We ran Channel 13. Channel 13 was the Skagit County local channel. So I still maintain Channel 13 as my channel, as the East County channel for anybody that has a CB and something happens. We go on Channel 13. Why? Because, one, I just like the number 13. And two, not everybody's got a 40 channel. Some people have a 23 channel CB versus a 40 channel. So anybody can access Channel 13. On the CB radio, Channel 9 is the national emergency channel. Honestly, I've never tried it, but in theory, you're supposed to be able to go on Channel 9 and say, hey, I'm lost, hey, I've got an emergency, and dispatch is supposed to actually be monitoring Channel 9 on the CB. Do they? I don't know. I don't want to try it. I don't want to get in trouble. But that is supposed to be the nationwide emergency channel on the CB radio.
I just want to throw something out there because I just saw it. Me and Kayla still have a lot of friends up in Canada in the Canmore Banff area. A fire started there on the 8th. And it went from 15 acres to 1,600 over the weekend.
Damn.
So, to everyone there, all our friends and family and everyone, be safe. Friend, Uncle Gary. If it comes to you, get in the hot tub.
Right?
It'll be warm.
It'll be warm, and you'll be wet, and the fire will go right over you, in theory.
Yeah. He's got bears that take over his hot tub, though, so...
Oh, no.
Yeah?
Kick the bear out.
He can't, it's a grizzly.
Turn up the heat and have bear stew.
Well, you know, it's just like the Downey Creek fire here went from 350 acres to 1,500 overnight, and then as of last night, it was at 2,700. I don't know what it is tonight.
Luckily, it is staying away from the town of Darrington, according to an actual firefighter who got transferred down to California for now, but he's keeping an eye on this one for his wife and family in Darrington. And
from what I understand, according to Twitter, they do finally have a team up there. They have a cat, and so they're cutting fire lines. They're trying to fight it.
Perfect.
And that just started. It's been going since August.
But it's a hard one to get to. Like, they can't do much about it if they can't get to it.
Right. I mean, well, we won't go there. They got helicopters that can drop water, but...
They're busy.
I'm sure all the helicopters are out.
They're busy as hell right now. And I believe this year one of them actually went down already, didn't they?
I don't know. I haven't heard. That one I haven't tracked.
Joe's still busy, but I believe one of...
nope, I'm back.
Oh, are you? Joe, didn't one go down in California?
A helicopter.
There was a helicopter went down.
Yeah.
They got too close to the fire and something happened.
Oh, did you hear about the National Guard?
No.
I don't know where it happened. I believe it was California. But there was a town, there were 200 people that couldn't get out. And the National Guard said, screw that. They got in their birds and they started taking off. They were ordered to stand down. And they said, no, screw you. They went in with their birds. They got everybody out.
Huh.
I think that what that was they call it the Creek Fire. It's down near Yosemite.
Okay.
And there was 200 to 300 campers up in that area. And
when
the fire started, it exploded, and there's only one road out. So people had no way out, and they were told to stand down, but the National Guard went in with their Chinooks.
Yep.
And they got everybody.
Yep.
They got everybody out of there.
And, you know, Izzy and I were talking about this the other day. You know, kudos to the National Guard. That's great. You got the job done. But it would have been a different scenario if one of those birds, one of those Chinooks would have gone down. Oh, my God, they would have got their asses toward. You know, and that's the chance you take.
That's a risk of the job, though. They understand that. And that's what makes them
different.
Better than me.
They're National Guard. They're soldiers. Honestly.
Yeah, and all of them. There are that's the only way to say it.
Yeah. Military is a different blood.
They're able to take those risks, and they know it, and...
That's what they sign up for, especially the National Guard, because they are there for the state. So...
Yeah, when I just came back, I heard you talk about the speed of some of the fires. The one that's right up here near us now, it's called the North Complex, or the Bear Fire.
Yeah.
It started out at night. I remember hearing at night. It was maybe 100 acres, 150 acres. It traveled 35 miles in one night.
Damn.
Basically, and it was toward me. That's the one where I said, "To hell with it, I'm getting out of here." and it's only about 15 miles away. But if it went 35 in one night, it's now at 250,000 acres.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they can explode. There's several little towns like Berry Hill and some others. They're just gone. They're level. People got out. Well, there's like 12 people were killed, and there's a bunch of them that are still missing and haven't been able to go back into the areas yet. But just because you hear, oh, well, that fire is 50 miles away, don't worry about it. No, you worry about it.
Oh, they can travel fast, especially when the wind picks them up.
No, wasn't it California?
Yeah, and the one that started up here in August, it was it burned within a mile and a half of my house.
Well, and Joe, are you watering right now? You're like the area around your house?
Watering isn't going to do anything up here. I'm in the middle of the forest.
No,
it's all
but
pine
it can
and
help.
oak and brush. It's manzanita. I can water my heart out, and it'll still come through, and
so
it'll just make it a little moist when it burns.
I remember a story with the Fort McMurray fire up in Canada a few years ago. One guy refused because they said, don't water your lawns, don't do anything, and he refused. He watered 24 hours a day all the way around his house. Mm-hmm. When the fire actually broke through and came and destroyed his neighborhood, his house was the only one left standing. But he watered the entire house too.
The main thing is the embers. They were catching them on the beginning of this fire up here, the Bear Fire. Embers were dropping 4 miles from the fire line. So, it's dropping on roofs, it's dropping in the canopy. There's nothing you can do.
Now, didn't you guys just have 2 of your larger fires merge into one?
Oh, yeah. They call it the North Complex is the one right by me. And then on the other side of the valley, on the other side of Sacramento, there's 2 huge ones. And there was actually 3 different fires that merged into one in the Lake County area, and it became the largest fire in California history. It's still burning. And then south of that, there's one burning it was several fires that all met up. They don't have a single name for it. They'll just call it like the SMU Complex fire.
Right.
They had one that was actually called the Lightning Complex because there were so many lightning strikes, started so many fires, and they all merged. Usually they'll name them after either a town or a creek or some geographical location. But when they start all over the place, they just say it's right here is the North Complex.
Yeah.
It started near LaPorte, and now it's down and burning near Orville. The creek fire. I mean, we've had 3 of the largest fires in history this year, right here in Northern California, and then I mean, we're getting partial reports from up in Oregon and Washington. You know how the news is; they only give you the local stuff, but you guys are burning just as bad as we are.
Yeah.
For one.
Well,
I mean, we had a season down here. We got 9 months a year. We have fires
right.
every year, every single year. You live with it, and now everyone's getting it up in Oregon and Washington now, even Idaho, I guess.
And like California, going by the fire map I looked at, some of our fires are actually merging into one as well in eastern Washington.
Yeah.
So eastern Washington is desert. So you expect it more in eastern Washington than we do here. So the Downey Creek fire, which is up in our area, not really a threat. It's above Darrington. It's not anywhere near the town. 17 miles east of the town, but on the mountain. So it's not like it's going to jump too fast, ideally. But
I'm sure you guys have heard of Paradise Fire, right? I think everybody's heard that one.
Yeah.
That was just on the other side. That's just maybe 40 miles north of me, and the fire that's burning now to the northwest there, it met up with the burn scar from the Paradise Fire. Now it's burning southwest and actually to the north also. They just kind of meet. And
it only takes one heavy wind to make that jump.
Yep.
What's the... And I can't remember, I believe the fastest fire, as far as the speed limit goes, I believe they've had fires that have gone 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Have they not? So...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you're talking Oh yeah, it's miles away. We don't got to worry about it. Worry about it.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah, when you got wind like that, you get fire, tornadoes, and every damn thing else.
And that's why they call it fire science. They actually have, degrees you can get just in fire science, because fire has a mind of its own.
Fire Marshal Bill.
So when you're talking about making a plan, again, I'll reiterate. I'll reiterate. Know what your threats are in your community, and you make your plan based around them. Now you want to look outside the box a little bit, because, for example, this isn't a tornado area, but you do get a random tornado every once in a while. Look at Port Angeles. What, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And we're not in hurricane area. That's in the south. That's where Alabama, Texas, Louisiana. They have hit North Carolina, New York,
Utah.
What?
Didn't they get a hurricane?
Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska,
Yeah.
Kansas, Dorothy.
Those
I
are
don't think we're
tornado.
in Kansas anymore.
Yeah,
One of
it
the
was
states
like
got,
it was
got a
a
random
Draco
hurricane that
or a
came
Dracon
into town.
or something
Or
like
came
that.
into
A
land.
tornado.
No, it was a
Okay.
hurricane.
They came
And
in
it
that
destroyed
far?
90% of their crops.
Wow.
But no, they call that something else. But basically,
Right, a typhoon.
no, it's like it's a Dracon or a Draco or something like that. But what it is it's a wall.
Well, maybe.
This particular one was a wall that was, I believe they said 600 feet, and it went 620 miles through Michigan and that area,
Right.
and ended up destroying a lot of their crops.
Well, that's also, you look at Michigan, you got the Great Lakes, you got a lot more water.
Plus, Michigan's one of those states that has you can't kick a rock over without finding a stream.
Right.
And
And so hurricanes, Izzy being in hurricane state, I've learned a lot about hurricanes because obviously we had to deal with them here. But the warmer the water is, the bigger the hurricane gets.
the stronger it
Was
gets.
there none when you were stationed in Georgia?
Oh, no, that was tornadoes. And I've heard tornado warnings. But
So you were more inland in Georgia.
Huh? I was in Atlanta. But again, they didn't teach us about tornadoes in the Army. They really didn't.
When I was a kid, they taught us about nuclear bombs and how to hide under your desk.
Well, yeah.
That would save you.
Totally.
Yeah.
Was your desk made of lead?
No, you go in the cell. You go in the
Probably.
cell.
Probably had a little bit of lead paint on there.
And I have seen tornado clouds. I have had a tornado that came towards my apartment complex, but it just disbanded.
I
Whatever.
love tornadoes.
They're
fun.
They're creepy.
Okay,
They're fun.
I'm gonna
They're
say
interesting to watch
Izzy.
at a distance.
It says a derecho, a widespread, long-lived, straight-line windstorm that is associated with a fast-moving group of severe thunderstorms, known as a mesoscale convective system, and potentially
Or Sharon or something.
it's Sally, wasn't it?
Shelley the tornado.
I think it was Sally.
Could you imagine if they named every tornado?
Huh?
They do.
They don't name the tornadoes.
They named
They
the
do.
tornadoes.
And
Really?
Not the
Uncle
tornadoes.
Joe.
Oh,
No,
I'm
not
sorry.
hurricanes.
Jesus,
Hurricanes.
Hurricanes.
I was
But
like, wait a
think of
minute.
how many tornadoes there are in the United States every year.
Yeah.
There's not enough names in the baby book.
No. But that's why we don't talk about those kind of disasters on the show so much, because, well, we do have listeners in the South, and I understand that.
I will
But,
tell you from personal...
I think we should name the earthquake.
Huh?
I think we should name the earthquake that's coming.
It'll-
Call it that prick.
It'll be named
That
wherever
prick.
the epicenter is.
We'll call it that prick. Yeah, I like that. That prick.
With my luck, it'll probably be called Earthquake Bellevue then.
Oh.
The coal subduction zone.
Hey!
The Bellevue Subduction Zone? Yeah,
Oh,
no.
man.
Actually, do you remember what that show was that you
What?
watched on that last night?
What are you talking... I've watched 20 of
I
them.
know, but last night, so she watched a documentary on that subduction zone itself.
Yes.
And watching that is the scariest crap I have ever seen.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
it's a freaky little subduction
As a
zone. man.
geologist, they teach us all of that stuff. That's what we learned for years and years and years. That's why nothing really scares me, because I know there's bigger stuff out there.
But the the computer generated image that they use to show what's going to happen.
It's bigger than the San Andreas.
Friend.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a cluster F.
It does weird me out because of the way they say the land's going to buckle.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think we'd notice that.
Oh, we will.
But the way the computer generated image showed it,
it drops.
It's going to create mountains.
No. Okay, okay.
Well, to put all the scale,
but it's been doing it for years and in a small amount every year. So we're talking like raising about an inch and a half a year over an extensive period of time. It's been 200 plus years since the last time that
it's two plates that are buckling, and
But the way showed, there should be an island off the west coast from here to Northern California.
We'll name it Coal Island.
No, we won't, because that island's going to be mean.
Oh my god.
Well, don't worry about subduction zone. We're in a collision course with the Andromeda Galaxy anyway. So.
Right. Right.
Oh, that's true? Yeah.
Okay. But see, here's the difference between that. This whole collision course with the Andromeda, I'm really not worried about that unless I get reincarnated 400 times or more over.
Oh, yeah, about 4 million times.
This subduction zone, though, I mean, once every 200 to 1,100 years, we're right in that window right there.
Well, the New Madrid fault is overdue for...
Okay, but most humans wouldn't have to worry about it.
Oh, stop it.
I'm just wondering how long your race actually lives.
You have your subduction zone you keep talking about up there. That's the Pacific plate going under the North American plate. Mm-hmm. And when it gets down to depth, it boils, and it comes up, and that's why you have all the volcanoes. That's what the volcanoes are. They're the big zits from the subduction zone.
Why you gotta add crap to this, Jim? Why you gotta be like that?
Hey, you're living right on it, man.
Now, when it comes to disaster movies, I do recommend San Andreas. I think San Andreas...
I like 2012.
Oh, that one too. Yeah,
I liked it, except for the fact that he got way too far in that helicopter way too fast.
Mm-hmm. Not only...
He wouldn't have been able to make it.
There were quite a bit of little mix-ups like that in that movie.
San Andreas teaches you a lot of facts. As far as, yes, if you're stuck and you can't get out, and you're able to find an abandoned fire truck, like she did, grab that radio. Get the TAC channel, because that's where you're going to find your information from. And some of the gear that's on those fire trucks is real.
I like 2012 because it had me and you in it.
It did?
Yeah, we were standing on top of Yellowstone.
Oh,
Woody Harrelson played us,
we
were still doing the show.
Right? S-4 live from Yellowstone.
That was
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson, yeah.
That look on your face when you finally realize your friend with the tinfoil hat was right.
Right? Absolutely. And jump back in the motor.
Yeah, who's laughing now?
I'm sorry, there's no way in hell that motorhome would have made it out of there.
I don't know. Have you ever seen Spaceballs? Motorhomes can do some crazy shit, especially the Winnebago.
It's those Winnebagos. They do it.
But yeah, no, San Andreas I thought was a really good movie showing Earthquake 2012, the end of the world. Yeah.
How many times are we going to go through this end of the world bullshit? Just saying.
Well, anyway, it's the end of our world.
Yeah.
No, okay. I thought we were all computer
the thing is people aren't realizing is that you remember back in 2012 when everyone was worried about the Mayan calendar? Well, what they didn't realize is that one of the Mayans who made that calendar was dyslexic. It's supposed to be 21.
Yeah.
Crap.
So 2021? Yep.
Oh, I think they didn't take into account leap year.
And that's what's funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you think about it that way, if they didn't take into account leap year, it would put it closer to 2020 than 2012.
And everybody can't wait for And nobody can wait for 2020 to be over when in reality the worst is coming in 2021.
Oh, shut up. Don't say that.
Mad Max.
No Mad Max.
Oh, I'm ready for Mad Max. Oh, my God.
Mad Max was set in 2021.
Yep.
I'm so not ready for Mad Max.
I've already been collecting cans of silver spray paint.
Perfect.
Awesome.
We're good.
Perfect.
Oh, God.
So when it comes to emergency preparedness, make sure you go to your boss. Ask what your workplace has for emergency action plans. We don't have to worry about the school so much because there is no school, but you're supposed to go to your school, see what their emergency action plans are in the event something happens when the kids are in school. Our kids are at home. So, yeah, we're the teachers. So,
Wrench and tri-jack. The jack that comes with your car sucks. Don't
throw it
use
away.
that one.
Just throw it away.
Yeah. Buy an extra one.
You can get a good jack for $20.
Everything in this bag can fit in a duffel bag. Everyone can fit a duffel bag in your car. God knows we all have enough garbage in there that if we take that out, the duffel bag will fit. Brandon, you need a set of jumper cables.
4 bodies in my trunk.
A good set of jumper cables. You want at least 10 gauge wire on them. The little ones that come with 14 or 12 gauge, they suck. Don't use them. 10 gauge is the minimum of what you want. Heavy duties are the best. A toolkit and or multi-purpose utility tool. Both, I would say.
Well, keep the multi-tool on your hip. Most of them
have an extra one in the car.
Right.
Buy two. Flashlight and extra batteries. Make sure they're the right batteries for your flashlight. Reflective triangles and brightly colored cloth to make your vehicle more visible. That is good for almost any emergency. A compass. First aid kit. Go with gauze, tape, bandages, antibiotic ointment, aspirin, a blanket, non-latex gloves, scissors, hydrocortisone, thermometer, tweezers, and instant cold compresses. Non-perishable high-energy foods such as unsalted nuts, dried fruits, and hard candies.
Granola bars.
Yeah, granola bars are a great one.
That's my favorite.
Drinking water.
Did you say hydrochloroquine?
No, hydrocortisone. Jesus.
We're not going down that road.
Drinking water. Reflective vest in case you need to walk to get help. The reflective vest can also be used in excess of your reflective triangles and everything. You hook it up on top of your antenna on your car, and you're more visible that way.
I want to throw in road flares.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say road flares?
No, flares wasn't on this list, but
yeah,
it's because most people don't
big
know how to
lighters.
use a flare anymore.
I've got 2 3-packs in the back of the truck.
Hey, and if you really don't know how to use a rose flare, okay, get yourself some of those, oh, God. What are
Glow
they?
sticks.
Glow sticks. Glow sticks.
This thing also has a car charger for your cell phone, it says. That is a great idea to have in your car at all times, but also try and keep one of those small charger batteries.
Yeah, backup battery.
Yeah, for your phone. A fire extinguisher, duct tape, a rain poncho for everyone in your family. Also include additional items for cold weather, including snow brush, shovel, windshield washer fluid, warm clothing, cat litter for traction, and blankets. In that bag, you should also have a secondary list of family and emergency phone numbers, including your auto insurance provider and towing company, everything. Not just in your phone, but also on paper. That way,
phone goes dead, you can't access it.
Exactly. Those are all things. Make sure you have great tires on. I would also add brake fluid, engine oil, and
coolant,
tranny fluid.
I've got power steering fluid in mine as well.
I also like to keep a thing of WD-40 in it.
Yeah.
Just your basic items.
Not on that list.
What's that?
Number 1, always keep your tank at 3/4 full.
Yes.
Because you might have to go and you might not be able to stop and get gas somewhere. That's number 1. That's the number 1 thing for up here where I'm at.
Well, not to mention,
people don't think about something. It might be hard for some people, but have a wad of cash in the vehicle because your ATMs might not be working. You might not even have your wallet. Who knows? No one's going to be, if power's out, they're not going to be taking any type of credit cards. They're not going to be taking your checks. Cash is king.
Hide that like crazy, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's that car
doesn't go in that bag. That does not go in that bag.
No, because the bag could be stolen.
Yeah.
And the reason you want 3/4 tank, especially, you're going to understand if you live up here, the bridge goes out, you're going to be driving a lot farther around for an evacuation route. And if you only have a quarter tank, you're not going to, I mean, you'll probably make it, but you'll be empty by the time you get to town. But you don't know how far you're going to have to drive around a disaster.
And the last thing you want is to run out of gas on the side of the road during a disaster. It just is not cool.
Now, for that cash that he's talking about, a lot of our cars have glove boxes on the passenger side. Take an envelope and put it inside the glove box, but attach it to the top. That is not actually connected to the glove box. It is a hard piece of plastic there that is behind your passenger side airbag.
Or even go, okay, well, no, never mind.
That is a great area to keep it. Under the seat, but inside the cushioning.
Well, I was thinking too, but if the ATMs are down, then it wouldn't be so effective. But along with a wad of cash, I would take like $20-$40 and throw it on a Walmart card.
As well as
the cash.
The problem with that is it's going to be electronic funds, and if everything's down, they're not going to be able to use it.
I'm saying
in conjunction with that.
So I have the cash too, but if, for example, they're still running cards, you have $40.
You might get to someplace that does have electricity.
Right, absolutely, and you still have $40 for a backup on a card. If you have to go to a hotel, for example, or something like that.
Yeah.
Remember, give this list to your neighbors. That way they also have it in their car, and if your car doesn't start during the apocalypse, you can steal theirs.
Jumper cables. No, you already talked about jumper cables.
Yeah.
What about tow rope? Did you have tow rope on that list?
No. Tow rope isn't on this list.
I would have a tow rope.
Yeah.
Get a good tow rope. Mine is still wrapped up in this brand new package, but make sure it's got a hook on each side. Tires. Again, you're going to hear the same information during the winter show because this applies really, specifically with a bug out vehicle for winter shows as well. So we'll be talking about this a lot more extensively with the winter show. But tires, tire chains. You don't know if you need tire chains, to get out. For us, we have aggressive tread on most of our vehicles anyway living up here. We have a lot of new folks that move up here all the time. They haven't experienced a winter up here yet. Our winters are getting worse and worse every year. But make sure you have aggressive tread, or at least all-weather tread at a minimum.
And if you already own a four-wheel drive vehicle, look up specifically for your vehicle where to put the chains. Someone should put them on the front. Someone put them on the back.
Well, especially if it's front-wheel drive versus rear wheel. And
versus all-wheel.
It's all-wheel, but on mine specifically, I looked it up because I was ordering some chains that you're supposed to put on mine. You're supposed to put it on the front wheels.
Now you want a good set of tires, and this is the thing. Like, everyone believes you need studded tires in the winter. You do not. You need the M+S designation, that is mud and snow designation, with the little mountain symbol on the side of the tire. That is a good set of tires for any winter driving. And if your car honestly can't handle, like if you're still sliding all over the road, you honestly shouldn't be on the road.
No. And again, we'll talk a lot more about this with the winter preparedness. How to turn out of a skid, how to drive in the snow.
But that's the thing. Like the M&S symbol isn't just for winter, though.
Right.
It says mud and snow, so therefore it is good for all four seasons. You can use those during all four seasons without getting in trouble with any area, because they are not studded. They are regular tires.
You have to have studded tires off by what, March?
Yeah.
I think it's March.
I think it was April 10th I had to take them off by. But
Okay.
because I did used to buy them just because we went up to Canada. And,
Oh yeah, Canada was a whole other animal.
But
Oh, we go over 3 or 4 passes
Yeah.
on the way to his parents' place.
and it made my dad feel better. I felt comfortable with just winter tires, but drive for your weather, no matter what it is. You guys got to remember the ash that we're having on the ground. If it gets any thicker, that ash, as soon as you add any moisture to it, which we're getting every morning, that turns into pretty much ice. It's like ice. It's the same thing. You are going to slide all over the place.
So, getting back to the plan, make sure your entire family knows your plan. Make sure you have 2 meeting points. Fire happens in your house, for example. Know the evacuation route out of your house. Have 2 exits for your house. So the kids know, meet out in the middle of the driveway.
Also, this is something I didn't know until I was much older. I grew up, we lived in a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
My dad had a axe underneath the trailer outside my bedroom, so that if there was something happened and I couldn't get out, he could, chop his way through and at least get me out through the side door, or make a side door.
And that's why you're supposed to sleep with your doors closed too. Ideally, sleeping with your doors closed. If the fire breaks out in your home, it's supposed to slow the fire down from getting into your room. You smell smoke. Obviously, today it's kind of hard because we all smell smoke. But if you smell smoke in your home, feel the door at the back of your hand. What?
Mine's glass.
Well, yeah. I'm talking about your bedroom door.
Oh, I don't have one of those.
If you have time. If you do not have time, run and get away from the damn house. But if you have time, make sure that you are turning off your propane.
Yep. And water. And gas. Natural gas or propane, either one. And with that, you don't turn it back on once you get back home until you
have been
inspect
cleared
the home.
too. Yes.
Yeah, because you don't know a gas line may have broken. Mm-hmm. Propane line may have broken. And don't just walk into your house when you come back home, because you don't know what kind of toxins are in the house.
That's right. Strut. No.
I would open the door, let it air out for about 5-10 minutes before you walk in.
All right, guys, with that, we are going to go to our second break. So when we come back, we will continue this talk about disaster preparedness.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Pod John.
Welcome back to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
And welcome back to S4 as we're doing our disaster preparedness show for the season. We will be doing another winter preparedness show probably October, November time frame with a lot more winter specific things you need to do. So getting back to your plan, make sure you've got an evacuation route established before the event happens. For example, up here you've got a lot of the mountain roads. People think, oh yeah, I'll just go up there. Well, something happens, you go up there might be a gate. A lot of these areas are gated off.
They won't be.
Well,
Bolt cutters.
Yeah, but they have the a lot of the gates up here have the padlocks inside a tube that you're really not going to be able to get bolt cutters down into.
All right, last thing you need to put in your vehicle is a plasma
Dynamite.
Dynamite works as well.
Dynamite
That's actually very compact. So,
Holy
and
C4.
just so everyone knows, S4 totally condones the use of dynamite.
No, we don't.
What?
No,
Okay,
we're not.
dynamite's
No,
probably
we
the
use guns
last
on a
thing you want to
watch
use
list
in
somewhere.
fire season. Just saying.
So Arnold,
Yes.
when you're talking about disaster plans, is there anything specific you guys have to do in the Parks Department?
Yeah, each season, like every month, it depends on what time of year we have to go through, whether it be fire, getting ready for fire season with like our fire pumpers, chainsaws sharpened and gassed up and ready to go, making sure everything's pretty much set there where you can just grab it and go with it, and anything else, if we know we have a road or something where we can do some trail maintenance on and clearing that would help with a fire break, we get that done before the season gets going too crazy. But mainly it's like you guys were talking earlier, your tools. I mean, if you're going to have a saw, make sure it's sharp, make sure it's ready, and you got fuel and oil, bar oil, and ready to go, so you can just grab that.
Especially with the chainsaws, because a lot of them are required to have, a gasoline oil mix. Make sure you have a gasoline oil mix just for those specific tools already in a can.
Yes.
So you don't have to, if something happens, you need a chainsaw now. Oh my God, I don't have the oil, or I don't have it mixed. Make sure the stuff's ready to go.
They've made such great improvements on the cordless line of tools. If you can't find a cordless electric chainsaw, get a cordless electric reciprocating saw and have yourself a metal cutting blade and a wood cutting blade. So if you did encounter something like that, you're not totally screwed. Just make sure you keep your batteries charged.
Right. Until you have an EMP blast, and then we're all screwed.
Well, that wouldn't affect. That wouldn't affect.
No, we know what's interesting. So I took a WMD course last week through Homeland Security, and it's interesting to find out that Homeland Security all of a sudden is looking at EMP blast threats. That's now on their radar. So I'll be taking an EMP course here probably soon. They're also looking at drone strike threats on our soil because it's come up through ISIS channels and whatnot that they're encouraging the use of drones in striking U.S. soil. So I'm actually registered for a drone terrorist course here in the next couple months as far as what to look for with drone usage as far as what Homeland Security is looking for.
Are you suggesting we get our own surface-to-air missiles?
Shot.
Yes!
That far just yet.
Shotgun.
Shotgun will take one out. Honestly, depending on, yeah.
Surface to air does a better job, though.
What? No. What?
S4
is not condoning the use of getting a surface-to-air missile. No.
Fake
That's going to
news,
get
totally
you in trouble.
does.
It's going to get us on a watch list, which we're probably already on a watch list.
Exactly, so we're good. Plus, it'll help when the meteors come. Right, Joe?
Meteors.
No, what is called Bruce Willis.
I'm
Wait, he's
gonna
getting
Steve
too old for that.
Buscemi.
He's getting
Well, if
too
you
old
think
for that.
about it, we had that one 75 million years ago. The meteor came down and created the Chicxulub crater down there off the Gulf of Mexico. The dinosaurs weren't prepared. That's why they all died.
See? We need to prepare these
Preparedness is important.
That's cold-blooded.
So along with the zombie apocalypse, we got to worry about the zombie
I'm still
apocalypse.
disappointed
Oh my
that
God.
never happened.
What? CDC's ready for them?
Well, they're
I've got a poster to prove it.
the zombies
no,
are.
no zombies.
I watched some idiot so glued to their friggin' cell phone the other day that they stepped off a curb and did a nosedive. I laughed my effing ass off.
Oh, God. So, Arnold, are you guys required to take annual chainsaw training or anything like that?
Yes. We have, when I first started in state parks, no, whoever taught you, and that's what you drink. But no, now you go through, of course, you have to be signed off and stuff on the chainsaw and pretty much on mixing the fuel and stuff and putting the chain on the right way.
Yeah. Damn, this thing's dull.
I mean,
no, it's on backwards, dumbass.
And that happened. That's happened to where I
Yeah.
was working one day. We had some trees come down, and we had to grab a saw, and whoever used the saw the last time and cleaned it, put the chain on backwards, and the guy was out there trying to saw this tree, and it wasn't working so well.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, no. Most of your stuff, when you're working with state parks, you have to be signed off, because if you're not and something happens and you were involved and the state comes back and says, well, what was this person doing this or whatever, and you're not signed off, then the state's really liable.
Right. So, with Search and Rescue, with a 4x4 team, we were, that's why I kind of figured you guys would be too. It's all state mandated anyway, but with the 4x4 SAR teams, you're required to do annual chainsaw, annual winch, and in certain specific areas involving trucks that we were required to do. Which I'm not comfortable with the chainsaw for reasons of, a tree hit me in the head, and no. So I don't do chainsaws. But I do have very sharp hand saws in the back of the truck, which aren't quite as quick and efficient as a chainsaw, but will get the job done. So if you're like me and you're just not comfortable with a chainsaw, they make great hand saws that will go through a tree rather quick if you need to get one out of the road.
And they don't need gas.
Yeah. Don't need
I just had to laugh at that part because 2018 we had the Lobo fire here, and we had 80-mile-an-hour winds, and the sky was glowing orange behind the barn. I packed up the truck, threw the dog in, backed the truck up, went to drive down my driveway, and there was a 160-foot pine that the winds had knocked down, and it covered my road.
Right.
And this thing had the trunk all the way up was a 6-foot diameter. I sat there and looked at it for a minute. I realized I had a chainsaw, and I thought I could take days for me to get through that. I backed up, parked the truck, I grabbed a backpack and the dog, and we hiked overland till I got to a road.
Yeah, and that's where the kit's going to come in handy. If you have to, obviously, if you have kids, got to take it a little more.
Dynamite would have worked.
Well, absolutely. But you're absolutely right. A 160-foot tree, it's going to take a bit with a handsaw. If you got to get out, you grab your kit and you run. So what goes in a kit?
What I did.
Another thing, again, we kind of emphasized this earlier in the show, but make sure you have a basic first aid kit and CPR class.
And also any of your kids who are old enough, make sure that they know the basics too.
Absolutely.
Because there could be a time where you're the one that's injured, and you could be the one that needs one of them to help you out.
Right.
And make sure you have super
my dad was
glue
a fireman,
in your
and he had his. Yeah, my dad was a fireman, and he had 3 boys, and he had us learning this stuff from the time we could walk.
Yeah.
Because he said, "Hey, it might turn out you might need to be helping me."
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
That's one of the good things I take. I think I took a lot of shit when I was a kid because I was in Boy Scouts. But I tell you what, I learned some, like emergency preparedness. The people laugh about those merit badges, but, if you got a good instructor, you learn a lot of really good crap. I mean, that stuck with me all my life, the stuff I learned doing those.
So what do you put in a kit? So it depends on what you're going to do, if you're going to bug in or bug out. And that means if you're going to stay in your house, obviously you got everything you need. Am I going to weigh my kit down with a whole bunch of water? Probably not. A couple bottles of water I might throw in a pocket.
Get a life straw.
Get a life straw.
Pure, I forgot what that canister thing is. I've got one in my kit.
Well, I also
you can drink out of a mud puddle with that thing.
Yeah. And that's life straw. You can get a basic life straw for $14. And they're good for a one-time use. One-time use being you can use it multiple times, but they're not made for...
Straws are illegal in California.
Oh.
That's a plastic thing.
Well, one of those, there's actually one out there now that's a UV sterilizing pen.
Okay.
That will kill the cysts and... like that creek we were in the other day, the water looked so pure, but I'm sure there were Giardia cysts and God knows what else.
So a couple... I picked up a Camelback at an auction for $9. Camelbacks are great. It holds about 1 liter of water. You throw on your back. It's got a straw that comes down over your shoulder. Great, just for hiking and if you got to get out. But if you can't get a live straw, hypochlorite tabs.
So you take tablets.
Yep.
Of course, you'll turn yellow.
You can pick them up in any store, in any supply store, for about $3 for a bottle of them. They're small; they'll fit in a pocket. Thing you want to watch out for: they should be a steel gray color. If they're copper, they're expired. But you can take a quart of water, you drop 2 hypochlorite tablets in it, shake it up, let it sit for 30 minutes. You got purified water.
Keep yourself a small bottle of bleach because hypochlorite is Clorox. I mean, the chemical name for bleach is
okay, if you're in your house, that'd be great.
No, I mean, you can buy... No, I care. I have the smaller bottle of, bleach. It's not much bigger than a pop bottle. And that's, that'll keep you alive. It'll taste like crap, but...
it tastes like crap anyway.
Yeah.
But that's your water. So again, FEMA recommends a quart of water per person per day. And that's for your drinking. That's for your personal hygiene. Joe, really? You recommend rum?
Hey, it's alcohol.
Hey, sterilize things.
Okay. And drink when you
or you just get to the point where you don't give a damn.
All right. So non-perishable package or canned food, and don't forget your non-electric can opener. I don't know how many times
P38.
I've heard or P38. Yeah. But you have all this canned food in your house. Power goes out, and you forget the can opener. That really, Don't forget the hand can opener, whether it's P38 or you can get them in the dollar store for $1.
Yeah, and they got the big ones now with a spoon on the end.
Right.
Think of all the cans that by the time you got it open with the original P38, you didn't feel like eating because your fingers were sore.
As far as what I carry in my 72-hour kit is basically granola bars, beef jerky, some candy for a quick energy.
How about getting a food dehydrator to like have some emergency stuff pre-dried and ready?
Yeah.
Like some apple, I'm
Apples
thinking
and bananas.
just
fruit.
fruit things that you can dry easily.
Absolutely.
So the other thing with that too is if you don't want to go to the trouble of actually drying all of it yourself, there is dried fruits in large bags and different things like that that you can get from Costco for pretty cheap, actually.
Yeah.
Or Thrive Life.
I straight up trail mix it.
Yeah, make your own. Dry your own fruit and make your own.
Yeah. It's got your salt, your protein, and your nutrients all in one trail mix. Thrive Life's a good company to go through. We have friends that do it. We might have it our next disaster fair that we can actually have without COVID. MREs.
There were
MREs
people up here that evacuated. The one thing, they kept going back to the police, the line saying you can't go past there. They wanted to get back to their houses the next day because they forgot their medications.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I have had, if you're on medication, and that's the thing with your community. And we'll get to that towards the end of the show. I want to talk about Map Your Neighborhood briefly. That Map Your Neighborhood is a Map Your Neighborhood, myn.com, I believe it is. You can order the book. It's a little booklet. But identify who you're disabled, who your elderly are on your street, so you know who to check on. Or the family that's got a single parent with a bunch of kids. Who are your vulnerable in your community that you should check on? Should something happen? That's where your community comes in. So non-perishable foods. When you're thinking about bugging out or having to evacuate, you don't want to pack a whole bunch of canned food. That just adds weight to your kit.
Right.
So that's why I say granola bars, trail mix, things of that nature.
Dehydrated anything?
Well, don't they make... I'm thinking that I've seen them before. It's like tuna that's been processed in such a way it's in a vacuum.
Oh, tuna in a pack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tuna pack.
Get some of those little packs because that's high protein.
High protein, quick energy. So you want a change of clothing, rain gear, and the sturdy shoes. Keep shoes by your bed, because if you have an earthquake, if you have a fire, most of us get out of the bed barefoot. You don't know what's fallen. You can have broken glass on the floor, things like that. So I keep an extra pair of shoes by the bed. I'm at fault for not doing that half the time, because half the time I take my shoes off by the desk and I'd be screwed if something happened.
Another just little simple quick tip for those people that it happened to sleep in the nude or anything like that. Make sure that you have some form of clothing that is quick put on.
Yep.
Right next to your bed as well, because you are not going to want to be standing out there for hours naked.
Nope. A nice heavy, something like a nice heavy...
Joe,
oh, there again.
Even if it's just throw on a nightgown or throw on a pair of stretchy shorts, something like that that's in there.
Just saying, most of us, if you follow the list in your vehicle, you got a whole set of winter clothing in your vehicle as well.
Absolutely.
I'm having to reassemble because I left it in North Carolina. I've got I had my winter bag where I had a thermal throw, some warm socks, battery powered ice fishing socks, that kind of thing.
So rain gear, let's talk about that for a second. So I have my Gore-Texes, which are Army raincoats, basically in the back of my truck. They're ready to go. The kids can wear them, I can wear them, whatever. But garbage bags are real easy to pack in a pocket. I have garbage bags in my kit. Real easy to just cut a couple armholes and a head hole, and instant rain gear in a garbage bag.
Yeah, that's something I didn't hear on the list that goes in the car is rope.
Yeah, I think,
Some type of
we
cord.
talked about tow rope, but
We mentioned tow rope,
Cord, yeah,
Oh,
like
man.
paracord or
Rope.
something. Rope.
but you know I also have.
You never know when you'll meet a sub out there.
Right.
No, rope is a good idea, guys.
Yeah.
Like that's.
Oh yeah, no,
he's right.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So I usually carry. I do have rope in the back of the truck. I also have bungee cords, zip ties. You know, all those.
That's
little
for
things.
when you kidnap people.
That's what I meant by
Oh
finding
God,
a
S-4 is
sub.
not condone no. We don't condone kidnapping people. Come
I
on.
do.
I
Unless
was
you
going to
need
say,
to.
Eric, your Go Kit sounds kind of like a kidnap bag.
Duct tape, paracord,
Give him a
Gag.
granola bar.
ball gag,
Right.
hey,
candy bar for bait.
Joe, weren't you the one talking about being
Duct
able to
tape.
fit 4 bodies in that
Car battery.
truck?
Yeah, Joe, you're the one talking about putting bodies in your trunk. Come on now.
Yeah, but that's just good
Well.
planning.
and always make sure you
I
have
didn't say live bodies.
Right.
have a tarp in the
And
trunk
that's
to
no
catch
longer
the blood.
kidnapping.
Yeah.
No, that's homicide.
No, it's not homicide either.
No,
Not if
it's,
you have the right
it's alternative lifestyle.
So blankets and sleeping bags. So my sleeping bags, yeah, and so as he says, it's also feasible to have this stuff packed and ready to go in the garage next to your vehicle. You don't necessarily need to pack so much in your vehicle. You have no room for grocery shopping.
What if the fire's in the garage?
Oh, come on now.
What?
Oh, that's a good point.
So yeah, a backpack in the truck at all times, and the rest kept near the vehicle. So yeah, perfect point. You don't need to pack your tent everywhere you go, but have your go bag in the truck.
All right, let's compromise here.
What's that?
Not in the garage. Most garages in this day and age are connected to the house. Let's not put it in the garage.
So where are you going to put it?
A tote outside the house area.
So
Okay.
somebody can come along. And,
I can see that.
Well, that's why you have guns.
Get a little shed.
Yeah, a small
in the
shed.
shed.
Huh?
A small shed, that works too. That's like near your driveway.
Right. An outdoor shed. Just have everything in a tote. You just throw it in the back of the truck and you roll out. So yeah, no, good point. Good point.
That's sort
So blankets and sleeping bags. So your sleeping bags would go in the tote. But I would keep they make. I like these flannel blankets they have. So they sell these flannel roll up, already pre-rolled up blankets in Walmart for like $3. I grab 2 or 3 of those.
Yeah.
They especially have them around Christmas time.
Yeah.
So you grab, you
Check your
buy 2 or
laundry window.
you buy 2 or
Or your
3 of them.
bathroom.
You throw in the back of the truck, and they're already ready to go.
And always remember your towel. Stay calm and remember your towel.
And towel on.
So first aid kit and prescription medications. So we've said prescription medications 2 or 3 times in the show. That is important.
Whose? Like, do
Yours.
I have to bring mine, or can I bring someone else's?
No, they have to
Oh,
be yours.
okay.
Oh, God.
So
You can
first
bring
aid
mine
kit,
if you want.
You guys are no fun.
Your first aid kit's a whole other list. You want splinting supplies, bandaging supplies.
Okay. Yeah.
What?
Turn the heat. I thought you were going to watch that. It's all right.
Joe,
Okay.
mute. Oh. So our first aid kit again is rather extensive. It stays in a trauma kit in the back of the truck still. The other thing is an extra pair of glasses. So you're driving, your glasses break. Again, you step out of your bed, your glasses fell on the floor. You step on them. Make sure you have an extra pair of glasses,
You lose them in the yard.
especially
We
if you
know
can't
that
see
happens.
already without glasses. But that's a good. I have backup glasses to stay in my kit. They're
Buy
really
some cheap
old.
readers if nothing else.
Huh?
Buy some cheap readers if nothing.
That would work too.
like what I'm wearing.
Well, what's that place, Kayla?
What?
America's.
America's Best?
Yeah, you can get 2 sets of glasses for $75.
There you go.
And
And they aren't bad.
like I know that's
They're
still
not terrible.
expensive, But it's a better deal. Like, you get 2 sets of glasses, then you can keep one packed away, and you get one to use.
And again, having that prescription is important to have that go in that briefcase with the important papers. Okay, so a battery-powered radio, flashlight, and plenty of extra batteries. Batteries important.
I have a wind-up radio.
I was about to. Yeah, that's where I was going to.
We've got the kit with the wind-up base station, and you can charge the handsets off of it.
A battery-powered, a wind-up flashlight, wind-up radio. All important things to have. You don't know when the batteries are going to go dead. You don't have new batteries. It's always good to have extra batteries in the vehicle.
Well, and if you're addicted to coffee, like most of us are right here, we got the percolators and the extra coffee.
The percolator. Another thing, so if you're as addicted to coffee as we are here on S4, the Folgers singles.
Those
gross.
are terrible.
I don't like you anymore.
Nope. That's why we got the percolator.
Okay, so if you don't have a percolator, you don't want to pack a percolator in your kit.
Pot.
Because it's on a
just
backpack.
A pot. That's all you need. Throw the coffee grinds in it, get some water from the creek, you're good to go.
Coffee singles.
Ew.
It's a tea bag with coffee grounds in it.
You're sitting here trying to ruin coffee. Your wife's throwing trees at people.
Yeah.
See?
Oh, God.
Okay, so I buy direct, EYE, buy, BUY, direct.com. 2 sets are $40.
Friend.
Credit cards and cash. So again, get a Walmart card, get just a generic Visa card, throw some $40, $50 on it, forget about it. Just put it in your pocket. Put it in your wallet, put it in your vehicle.
Check on some of those because they have expiration dates.
Mm-hmm. That's what I said. I would honestly
Walmart's
say,
do not. Okay, but I mean like some of the gas cards and some of the Visa cards, the free charges have like a 18-month or they have an expiration date on them.
I believe if you buy Costco's actual gift cards, they don't either. And that is good for gas as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. That's why I would say I would probably do like a Fred Meyer's card.
Okay.
Just because you have everything all in one and it's a gas.
But they have an expiry date.
They do? Well,
yes.
Yeah.
Fine. Thank you, Fred Meyer.
All right, next a set of car keys. Yeah. You drop your keys, make sure you have an extra key in your vehicle. Hidden away. A list of family physicians. So I'm going to add to that. So have your important phone numbers. Your veterinarian. A lot of people forget about the animals. You want to have your veterinarian on a phone list. Your doctors, your veterinarian.
Now, to be fair, also when you're packing medication, if your dog or your cat or anything has a medication that they need,
them with it.
Put it in there too.
Yeah. Put them all in a Ziploc, obviously in separate containers so you don't take your dog's worm medicine.
Why is Daddy licking his butt? Oh, he took the dog's medication.
List of important family information, the style and serial number of medical devices such as pacemakers. So that's a whole other category. So if you have, for example, a CPAP, and that gets back to power outages. Another reason you want to have a generator. If you require oxygen, if you require, and this also goes back to your community. Make sure you know who's on, who's disabled, who's elderly, who's on those kind of devices. Mm-hmm. So you can go check on their generator. Make sure they're okay. And so what's cool about the Map Your Neighborhood program is it's a booklet everybody in your neighborhood gets. And you have a diagram of your street or your community. And you know who the nurse is. You know who the carpenter is. Somebody might work for Puget Sound Energy. And with that book, it identifies who's elderly, who's disabled. And what's cool about the back of the book, it's got a sign. One side says okay, the other side says help. So when you're walking down your street, and you know who the disabled are anyway, As soon as you've checked your family out, everyone's good, you put okay in the window. If you need help, you put help in the window. So when you're walking down checking out your neighborhood, poor Dennis, he's beginning to think he should buy a second home 1,000 miles away.
Good idea.
Seriously.
I got one. The problem is you got to get there.
That's your backup plan, Dennis. There you go. Got your backup plan. But when you're walking down the street, you see the Jones have okay in the window. You don't got to check on them. You see the Smiths have okay in the window. You don't got to check on them. But you see the Schneiders don't have anything in the window, and the cars in the driveway. They might be down, and they haven't had a chance to put help in the window. So you should probably go check on them. Really good program. Check it out. It's MYN. Let me double check the website. It's a Washington State program, but you can go on the website and get it implemented in your community. And,
Dennis brings up a really good point.
What's that?
Well, everything we've been talking about is us preparing for us leaving and the things that we'll have with us. The point is, the world is a nasty place, and there might be a natural disaster or something 50, 100, 200 miles away, and all those people come up to where you are, and they decide they're going to live where you are because they don't have anything, and you do.
Right.
So, got to talk about that kind of preparedness, too.
That's called a 308 with a...
At the same time, I will say, like, let's say, Joe, that you lost your home.
Yep.
You are more than welcome to come to our home and stay with us.
Exactly.
And I would offer that to anyone. Yeah. Like, literally, if you lose your home in any disaster, friend, come on over. Friend, we'll figure it out.
But there are people out there that aren't good people.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They won't wait for you to invite them in. They'll just take it.
Yeah, and so
in
a while back,
situations that will happen.
Oh, absolutely.
The thin veneer of civilization falls off.
And I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, there was a TV show called Preppers. And there was an actual prepping group here in Washington that they didn't prepare. They prepared to take your home. That was their whole prepping plan, was to actually go to the people that were prepping, that were ready, and kill them and, take over their supplies. And you're absolutely right. There are people like that. And it was brought up to me here a couple of days ago that, based on what we do for our community as far as preparing and pushing out disaster preparedness information, it does make you a beacon when you're the one that is encouraging preparedness. But what I told him too is, anything happens, I have a security team that will be here. And honestly, if it came to a crap hit the fan scenario, I'm probably not going to be here. We've got, contingency plans that if it gets too bad, we have evacuation plans that we're not even going to be around. In those cases, good luck. We'll be in Joe's bunker.
Friend.
Yep. It's getting here, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those people you were talking about, those preppers that are going to take things, they might be on the road waiting for you to come driving down the road with your fully stocked vehicle.
Well, the only thing we're stopping to take is there's that burger joint.
The burger joint?
Yeah, in Oregon. I can't remember. It starts in Oregon. You guys have them all over down there, Joe. Friend. In-N-Out.
In-N-Out?
Oh, yeah, we're bringing In-N-Out to your house.
There you go.
Sounds like a teenage sex scene.
You're more than welcome if you bring In-N-Out.
But you got to also think S4 does have an underlayment of topics. They come up in every show, and that is one of them. We are kind of always prepared for that. Just, it's an inside joke.
Right.
It's pointy sticks.
Yep.
You're all prepared for that point.
Yeah. And that's the thing a lot of folks need to understand. Don't rely on firearms. Don't rely on firearms as your only source of defense. When you have military training, there's a whole way anything becomes a weapon.
Yeah.
So when you decide you're going to try to take over somebody's home, good luck.
Especially one of ours. No, I'm sorry.
No,
there are 9,000 things in this home that can kill you.
Yep. No, not just that. Your bare hands become a weapon.
I don't want to get my hands dirty.
You don't have to.
Well,
but we're not going to go into that on the show. But
Oh, man.
no, it's called SERE training. SERE. Survival, evasion, escape, resistance. Resistance, escape. There you go. And I used to teach a modified version of SERE to my soldiers. It doesn't take a lot.
We got the bow and arrows. We're good.
Or, again, you don't ever disclose everything in your pocket to the public.
What's in its nasty pockets?
They
a
don't.
small hole for your hand to go through.
Something to wear, something to wear and something to play with all at the same time.
But pointy sticks can mean a whole lot.
Absolutely.
And you know that, Joe. So when it comes down to it, yeah, you always have to be ready, security-wise, when it really comes down to it. Because absolutely, there's always bad apples in a community that's your only focus.
Almost everything on that list in your car has dual purposes.
Yep.
And it's not all weapons.
And that's what you want to look at.
But
is when you're packing your kit, pack the stuff that has multiple uses.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And okay, I know that this is a little, but somewhere in your center console, somewhere in your glove box, somewhere that you can reach from the passenger or the driver's side, like from the driver's side, but have something to be able to cut a seatbelt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they make a device that's, again, multiple use. It's got a flashlight, it's got the seatbelt cutter, and it's got the windshield smasher. Mm-hmm. I keep it in my truck.
Yeah, because you would be surprised at how many people.
What most people don't realize, though, for when it comes to the windshield or window, you have one in your car at all times. You have a window buster in your car at all times.
Yes, you do.
Called a fist?
No, the seatbelts.
Yeah, you can use.
They are made to do that.
Okay.
So in every window, there is a small symbol in the bottom corner. If you put that seatbelt up to that symbol and press, that window will shatter.
Huh.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
Absolutely. If you ever notice when the police or the fire department have to break into a car, you will notice they go to the bottom corner of the window, and that's where they press.
Huh.
It's because that's a shatter point. You hit anywhere else in the window, and the glass is going to fly inside. At that point, the whole window is going to shatter, and they can slowly press it in.
Okay.
Or out, depending on how you want to do it.
Remembering that a panic situation, I mean, that's something you probably would have to drill into yourself, or you would forget it as the water level was coming up to your chin.
Yeah.
Right, but definitely, I mean, there's been hundreds of accidents where people have ended up getting horrible crap happen because of the fact that they could not get out of their seatbelts after they flipped and they walked.
Right.
And one cool thing is, I got one of these for Christmas last year. You guys can find them all over credit card knives.
Yes.
I've got one.
Yes.
They have 19 different functions at least.
Yep.
And I used to look at that and think, when the hell am I going to use that? Yeah. I have used mine at least 50 times since Christmas. So, you never know when you're going to actually need it.
And a good website to go to for a lot of this kind of stuff is budk.com.
Yes. Budk's got some great crap.
BUD, letter K.com.
And also Smoky Mountain Knife Works.
Mm-hmm. So that's a good, cheap website with great quality stuff.
You mean you don't want to buy it from Wish?
No.
What is it about Wish?
Check out
is
that
like
website.
A complete rip-off site or something? I've seen memes about it. I've never.
Okay, so if you, like, let's say you bought a Coca-Cola from Wish.com, you're getting an expired Shasta.
Oh, okay. So it's a rip-off site.
No, they send you the item. It's just
no, it's not what they advertise it to be
at all.
no.
Also, for Map Your Neighborhood, go to mil.wa.gov/map your neighborhood. Actually, just go to mil.wa.gov and you will find a lot of information about disaster assistance in general.
And yes, Dennis, that is correct. You are supposed to wait for the water to fill the car before smashing the window. Well, most of the situations I would be in when it comes to that isn't for water, it's for snow.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd include you in that because with where you live, it's mostly going to be snow. If you get to a point where you hit a ditch and you can't open any of the doors, you're going to need to pop out a window.
Okay, just to let everybody know, just in case you didn't, the thing about car seats, too, for small children and different things like that, is they are now built to where they automatically float in the water.
Okay.
Okay? So if you have, like, a couple of children that are both in car seats, you can unhook and let go. You know what I mean. I mean, if it comes down to it, you can unhook and let go, and it will balance itself to where the child should be above the water and breathing the way that they're set up now.
Okay. And that might be where a rope comes in handy, too.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, that show went by quick. Like, we're already at 9:42, guys.
I know. Is there anything you want to add, Arnold, before we close for the night, as far as preparedness in state parks, training you might have gone through, and whatnot?
Not really. The next show, like the winter preparedness, since I worked on a Snoqualmie Pass and did that. There's a lot.
We'll definitely have you back for the winter preparedness show, probably October, November as well.
Or no?
Okay, I
have to ask.
What's up?
This is a stupid question, probably. Does the state parks have any have you ever seen any plans for if something a world-ending disaster ever happens? Let's say a meteor.
No. No.
Really?
They don't prepare.
Those buggers.
Here's what they prepare for. They prepare for things that they think or know that's going to happen. The fires, the earthquakes, the bomb threats or whatever, or like after 9/11 happened, we were really put on checks because for our water systems for the parks.
Right.
Because almost every park has their own water tower and stuff like that. Some are fenced, some are not. So it was really to go around and check those and stuff like that. But for trainings, more or less, it was for the rangers how to prepare and get people out of the parks and stuff. And what was kind of interesting is you would have volunteers that would come in on these meetings and trainings as well, except when you have a park, let's say, that has 200 to 300 sites and you need to evacuate them, that was the issue, because most of the people are going to go, wait, I need to do this, no, you need to just get in your truck and leave. And the people with the big motorhomes, well, yeah, that's what you're going to be driving out. But those that had trailers and wanting to hook everything up, and no, you just go. You would train sometimes with the your local fire department. They would come in and do certain things. with you on the off season, just so you could train with them in case something did happen. But what's really hard is when you have people coming from all over the world to camp in your parks, and if something does go down, trying to get everyone out safely.
Did you ever train with security or FBI or any of the federal agencies that do terrorism and security?
No. What in my career, we worked with state patrol, the game wardens, and stuff like that, and we could try to get as much information from them as we could. I'll tell you this. We got to do ride-along with State Patrol to just be with them and train with them a little bit. And I went down to, this is in Eastern Washington, I went to Ellensburg to do a ride-along with a trooper one day. And I got there and we met up, and as soon as we got in his car, he looked at me, he said, I may be parking and dropping you off at some point during the day, and another troop come and get you. I'm like, why is that? And somewhere in Ellensburg, a guy had called in to Olympia, to the state capitol, and told them that if that state patrol airplane that flies over one more time over my house, I'm going to shoot it down. So, that was interesting, because later that day, there was nothing happening, and the next thing I know, he says, no, state patrol's not handling it, they're bringing in people from Olympia. So, even that type of training, I was about probably only one of the Rangers or a few others that heard about that there was a guy willing to take what weapon he had and try to shoot the plane out of the sky.
Huh.
But, that, just saying that, if you weren't really tied in with them or seeing them ever so often, you didn't get to hear. So when I worked different counties, I'd get to know different officers. I'd get to know different state troopers. So even if I was off and I was in town and I talked to them, I could ask them, hey, anything going on? Should I be aware of something? And if there was, they'd let me know. But just having open communications with whoever you work with, federal, state, or whatever, and having someone that can, alert you that if you haven't heard it already.
And, to be honest, I think that's one of the takeaways from 9/11 that was supposed to improve that didn't. And that is intelligence sharing between all law enforcement agencies. And that didn't happen.
Exactly. No.
That's still not happening today. Because, you could talk to the deputies here, for example, where Adamhoff Division actually did come up to Concrete and train, and the deputies will say they were never here. But Devil's Tower is in their training video, and Cole and I went up to Devil's Tower and actually saw their tags on the gate. So we know they were here. But when federal agencies are not sharing their intel with local law enforcement, whether it's the sheriff, the state patrol, we have ICE that comes up here. But does ICE talk to local law enforcement? That I'm really not aware of. But I don't think so. I think when you have jurisdictional issues between various agencies, their ego and it's my jurisdiction gets in the way. The original creation of the fusion centers was supposed to remedy that.
Yeah.
But because the fusion centers aren't under federal overwatch, there's too much that doesn't get shared because, again, you have jurisdictional ego that gets in the way between all these different agencies, and there's no improvement. That's a fact that Homeland Security agencies know, but it's hard to fix when the people up at the top don't want to fix it.
Well, that goes to when I worked at my last park, and I'd go between my park and another park that's half hour away from one another. And I ran into a gentleman one night when I was closing down a park that was with ISIS.
Right.
And they came into the park one night and they driving a limousine, got out to do their prayers. And I went to talk to him to tell him the park was closing. And when I seen the guy's face, I just happened to recognize it for being on a poster we'd had shared. But no local law enforcement had said anything about the guy being in the area or anything. We found out later he lived about halfway in between both parks, had been using that park to train to do something.
Yeah.
And stuff. So yeah, I just happened to go down and talk with the local law enforcement, and they're like, when I walked in and mentioned what they were driving and stuff, the lady in the office had this look that comes over her face, and I knew it was not good. But again, you go back to not sharing information, which is a bad thing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So we are coming down. Joe, do you have anything to add?
I was just dying to talk to the park ranger about Bigfoot.
Go ahead. We have about 5 minutes.
Tell us what you know. Official.
I
Give
know
us the
it's
lowdown.
out there. I've heard it. I've seen things. I've actually seen. I think my son and I were coming back from Shelton one night to the park, and it crossed the road in front of us. And yeah, the area that I lived in then, was well known for it being around.
What about officially? Do they ever tell you guys not to mention things like that?
No, state parks, the rangers, those rangers that they actually will talk about it and stuff. No, that one, hey, you can talk about it when you talk about it in the campgrounds with other people that are coming in. A bunch of people will ask.
I think that's the difference between state parks and federal. It's federal that will not talk, and I believe are probably told, "Oh no, we don't talk about Bigfoot."
Yeah.
Versus state parks, which Washington State, he is a lot more recognized. You look at Skamania County, for example, where they actually put Bigfoot on the protected species list, essentially by saying there is no killing of Bigfoot.
Well, because state parks know how to make money.
Oh, that too.
Yes,
honestly,
that too.
it is a big money maker because when someone asks you about it, they're looking for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Dennis is asking, except when it comes to missing people. And again, I do believe that's the difference between federal and state. You guys in the state side are tracking the missing people versus the federal parks. Because you guys actually call in local law enforcement for a missing person. Whereas the federal side...
Yeah, a federal's official statement would be, as my son would say, sucks to suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and we work closely with local law enforcement because most of our parks are within either city limits or in the major counties and stuff, and yeah, we have to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So I was just thinking, one more thing that you might want to add to that little survival kit, and I don't know if you're into that kind of thing. Wouldn't need to be, but figure out what the edible plants are that grow wild around your area. Mm-hmm. You can either go online and download some files, print it out, or in Washington, I know that we have a book called Edible Plants of the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. That goes with the library. We didn't really talk about what kind of library you have.
That's a really good idea.
Peterson Guides has one for East Coast and West Coast.
Absolutely.
Medicinal plants, it's a good idea to get a guide on medicinal plants.
So what's in my library, I also have animal track guides, so you can actually identify if you're not familiar with the native wildlife.
And if you don't want to spend... These books are typically pretty expensive. They really are. A lot of the survival guide books and different things like that can run anywhere from $9.99 to $200 for some of them.
I wouldn't spend $200.
You can go and just look up bits and pieces and do your own archiving of the stuff on, just
or
print
folks,
it off.
Just get a hold of me. I've got a whole library of files of nothing but survival and disaster preparedness. And again, if you're local, come see us October 6th at National Night Out.
Yeah, and for our locals, just so you know, the smoke is supposed to mostly clear out tonight through Tuesday. Tuesday we got a new, stronger system coming in from the ocean, and it is supposed to clear a lot of it out.
Yeah.
So
and we have rain.
Hold out for a few more days. Joe, I am so sorry.
Going on 7 weeks here.
Right.
Why? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. And again, it's supposed to start sprinkling Tuesday with thunderstorms coming in Wednesday and Thursday. So, again, watch lightning.
Yeah.
And again, we are on a complete burn ban.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
So
use
please
your
quit
propane
burning.
Frickin'
stove.
quit it, people.
Stop the burning.
And you know, burning garbage is illegal any time of year.
Right.
Just letting you know, just in case you didn't. So don't do that.
Just in case you didn't see the big sign up by the road.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Right.
Just in case.
And with that, folks, so next week we do have Tony coming on with astral projection, what he did on the astral team, how you can astral, everything astral.
Yeah. Don't forget to check out the store, www.s-4radio.com. Get your apron.
I got my apron.
He got his apron.
He got his apron. And with that, folks, don't forget, keep your eyes to the skies.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on S4, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. You can contact S4 through our website at www.s-4radio.com or on Facebook. Make sure you give us a like on our page and join the Forest Moon Paranormal group. If you are interested in advertising, take a look at our packages and contact Cole or Eric at 1-360-999-2830. Again, thank you. And remember, keep your eyes to the sky.